in the state of Wisconsin than we've ever had in our state's history. But now in manufacturing, we need apprenticeships. Our youth apprenticeships have more than doubled. We've got adult apprenticeships continuing to grow. We've got technical education programs. We're going to show part of that off to the president, the Secretary of Labor, and to Ivanka Trump, who's going to join with us. And then we're going to hear from a roundtable of chief executive officers from some of the nation's largest companies that are based right here in the state about what more can be done. And I really got to hand it to the president. I asked him about this with all the other governors back in February, asked him to make this a priority. That's exactly what they're doing this week. And we're thrilled that one of those key stops is here in Wisconsin.
Well, a lot of those working class jobs are those people that want to put them into office and help them win with Wisconsin. You said the problem, according to one senior administration official, the problem is not money. There are 31 workforce programs spread across 14 different states. It's what type of programs they are. And I'll give you an example of the problem. It might be in education. We got an email during the show about this, about school. I taught welding at my local high school for years. They got rid of my program and put in stage lighting for theater. Now that might be fine, but that's niche. One is broad, correct?
Yeah, that's a huge change in our state. We've opened the door to what we call dual enrollment. We just put more resources into early college credit to help with technical education in our technical colleges, one of which we're going to be at today, Waukesha County Technical College, who's got a great dual enrollment program. But you're right, it's just a change of the mindset. We've doubled the number of fab labs. When I talked to the president in February about this, it wasn't just using the bully pulpit, for which he's got the biggest bully pulpit in the world. It was looking at all these workforce investment programs, even welfare reform, and saying giving more power to the states allows to put a greater emphasis on the dignity that comes from hard work. And when it comes to education and higher education, allow us to streamline those programs, meet the needs that we have in our given states, not a one-size-fits-all approach from Washington.
And we only have 20 seconds left, but Governor, lots from parents. Parents are used to be embarrassed. Oh, my kid has to go to college or I'm a failure. That's just not the case.
No, manufacturing jobs in our state pay 24% more than the typical job. They're much more likely to have benefits and they have a longer retention rate. There's good careers, not just jobs there, that can take care of someone and their family for years to come.
Governor, have a great day today with your former rival, President Trump, in Wisconsin, and now you guys are tight. Meanwhile, coming up straight ahead, a reason to never pop the question in front of a crowd. Plus, what does the mainstream media have wrong about Attorney General Jeff Sessions, the man who replaced him as Senator? Senator Luther Strange is live.
And then I saw her face.
Dynamic performance so you can own the road. Track-tuned handling so you can conquer corners. Aggressive styling, so you can break away from everyone else. Experience the exhilaration of the bold Lexus IS. Experience amazing.
Working hard to lower your LDL bad cholesterol? Not making enough progress? You eat well, take the highest dose statin you can, but still aren't getting where you need to be. Now there's Repatha, a different way to reduce LDL and get on the path to dramatically lower numbers. Repatha works differently than your statin to help clear LDL. Repatha plus the highest dose statin drove down LDL an average of 71% more than a statin alone.
Do not take Repatha if you are allergic to it. Repatha may cause allergic reactions. Signs include redness, severe rash or itching, swollen face, or trouble breathing. The most common side effects include runny nose, sore throat, common cold symptoms, flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site.
Added to a highest dose statin, Repatha lowered LDL below 70 for up to 90% of people. Ask if Repatha can get you on the path to way lower LDL.
It's okay that everybody ignores me when I drive. It's fine, because I get a safe driving bonus check every 6 months I'm accident free. Because I don't use my cell phone when I'm driving, even though my family does and leaves me all alone. Here's something else. I don't share it with Mom. I don't. Right, Mom? I have a brand new putter you don't even know about. It's awesome.
Safe driving bonus checks only from Allstate.
Sometimes I leave the seat up on purpose.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
The Jeff Sessions hearing. As questions surround the Attorney General, what will he reveal and how will it impact the White House? Full coverage starts today at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel.
The
The sun used to make our outdoor deck and patio space so hot and uncomfortable, we couldn't use it.
But then we discovered the Sunsetter retractable awning. Our Sunsetter retractable awning opens and closes in just 60 seconds. It keeps our patio about 20 degrees cooler.
It provides instant shade and instant protection from the sun's harmful rays.
And our Sunsetter costs under $700.
But now you can get your Sunsetter for as little as $599 when you call now to get this special $200 discount certificate and free awning idea kit.
We love our Sunsetter retractable awning, and you're going to love yours too.
Sunsetter awnings are assembled in America and guaranteed to last for years. So call now to get this free awning idea kit with DVD, plus your $200 Sunsetter discount certificate.
But this is a limited time offer.
Call now.
Call now for your free awning idea kit with DVD and $200 discount certificate. There's no obligation.
All right, we got Laura Ingraham coming up, top of the hour, and Ben Carson in 5 minutes. It's 7:24 now here in New York City. We've got some quick headlines for you right now. Outrage boiling over after a mayor removes the president's portrait from the town hall, replacing this photo with one of a renowned Native American warrior. Jackson, Wyoming Mayor Pete Muldoon defending his decision, saying he isn't required to display signs of respect and that honoring President Trump means the city is taking sides. The county commissioner is calling the move totally disrespectful. And a second chance to graduate for an Army Reserve medic days after a uniform dispute kept him from walking with his classmates. Hundreds showing up to the ceremony held just for Private First Class Harlan Fletcher, the principal apologizing and personally handing him his diploma. The school district says they plan to revise the dress code policy. All right, Ainsley, over to you.
Thanks, Steve. Well, just hours from now, Attorney General Jeff Sessions will testify before the Senate Intel Committee over Russia's interference in the 2016 election. The Justice Department says Sessions requested an open session so the American people could hear the truth directly from his mouth. Will this help Sessions cut through the media spin? Joining us now is the man who replaced Jeff Sessions in Congress, Republican Alabama Senator Luther Strange. Good morning to you, Senator. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. So tell the folks at home who don't know Jeff Sessions what he's like as a person.
Well, I've had the honor and privilege of knowing Jeff for over 25 years. He's been a dear friend and a mentor, and there's no finer person in public service than Jeff Sessions. Literally an Eagle Scout from a young age, and he's conducted himself with the greatest integrity of any public official I've ever met. So America is very fortunate to have Jeff Sessions as Attorney General, and I expect him to acquit himself very well this afternoon.
All right. Well, Senator, if you look at the headlines, they paint a different picture than what you're describing of the Attorney General. The Huffington Post said in 2016 that he was deemed too racist to be a federal judge. He'll now be Trump's Attorney General. Look at that headline there. Then we have a few others that we want to put up. Slate headline in 2017 says Jeff Sessions' denials are incomplete and unconvincing. You have MSNBC, Attorney General Jeff Sessions can't shake the Russia controversy. New York Times headline, Trump grows discontented with Attorney General Jeff Sessions. And then Slate says, what does the FBI have on Jeff Sessions? So does the media have it wrong?
Absolutely, the media has it wrong. And I think this is a continuation of a strategy that's been employed since Jeff's confirmation hearings. If you recall, it wasn't just a hearing about his views on the rule of law and his conservative record. It was really a personal attack on Jeff Sessions. And I think the point of all that was to delegitimize not only Jeff Sessions, who's one of the finest people in public service, but also to delegitimize President Trump and his agenda, because we're not talking about the things that I care about, the people of Alabama and the country care about. Repealing and replacing Obamacare, the president's trip to Wisconsin today, which is critically important in employment, tax reform. There's so many things the American people voted for and are expecting us to do. This, to me, is a huge distraction from that mission. Having said that, I'm glad Jeff's testifying today.
What do you think about that? What does it say about his character if he wants to do that?
Well, it says everything about his character. He's not interested in backroom testimony or testimony in private, even if that were an option for him, because he is about telling the truth. He wants the American people to hear it. And more importantly, I think it takes out the media that you referenced, the liberal media for sure, and interpreting what he might have said. Now people get to hear it directly, and I think they'll be very impressed.
Have you talked to him? Do you know what he's planning on saying today?
I have an idea about what he's going to say, but my only conversations with Jeff have been ones of encouragement, thanking him for taking on a very tough job. And because he does believe in the rule of law and enforcing our laws, unlike the previous administration, we've seen a decrease in the illegal border crossings, more respect for the rule of law, which is great for our country.
All right, we'll be watching your friend today at 2:30. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Coming up, advertisers fleeing the New York production of Julius Caesar after it depicts the killing of President Trump. But CNN's parent company is sticking to its sponsorship. Rob Schmidt has the details just ahead. Plus, HUD Secretary Ben Carson just attended his first cabinet meeting with President Trump. So how did it go? Secretary Carson joins us on Curvy Couch next. Come on in.
We weren't born to follow. Come on and get up off your knees. Life is a pill to swallow. You gotta hold on to what you believe. Believe it.
You supported him through 4 years of undergrad and medical school. It's no wonder he said, "You don't have to pick me up." At Lincoln Financial, we get there are some responsibilities of love you got to do on your own, and some you shouldn't have to shoulder alone, like being able to maintain your lifestyle no matter what comes your way. Ask a financial advisor how Lincoln can help you get through your retirement and not just to it.
Introducing Lean 13 from Nutrisystem. Lose up to 13 pounds in your first month, guaranteed.
Lose up to 13 pounds fast with the new Lean 13 from Nutrisystem.
Your 13 can turn into 20, 30, 50, even more. I'm Marie and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem. You'll see results right away. Count, measure, meetings? No, not with Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day plan right now and we'll rush you Lean 13. Get specially designed meals, plus 1 week of new Nutri-Crush bars that crush cravings free. And 1 week of Turbo Shakes to bust belly bloat free.
Bye-bye, stubborn belly fat.
Call or go online in the next 2 minutes and we'll even throw in FedEx shipping free. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall your first month.
Your first 13 pounds? Gone.
Go online or call 888-828-THIN right now and get new Lean 13 with bars and shakes free.
Coppertone Sport versus the sun. Coppertone Sport stays on strong when you sweat and is strong enough to stop up to 98% of the sun's damaging UV rays. Coppertone, because protection matters.
When you connect better, everything comes together. Try it free at GoToMeeting.com.
These are the faces of arthritis, and when they have pain, they turn to Australian Dream. Here's why they love it.
Australian Dream doesn't burn, and there's no odor.
There's real medicine in there. It's effective pain relief.
I bought it because of the money-back guarantee. I keep buying it because it works.
If you're one of the faces of arthritis, get Australian Dream. It's effective relief for arthritis backed by the empty jar guarantee. Back pain? Try Australian Dream Back Pain Cream. Real medicine, trusted relief.
In 2014, we celebrated when our carpet cleaning service was certified by the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America. Today, Stanley Steamer's tile and hardwood cleaning services are certified too. We remove an average of 94% of household allergens from carpet and 96% from tile and hardwood, leaving your home cleaner and healthier. Call 1-800-STEAMER or go online for our $99 special.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
Never has there been a president, with few exceptions. In the case of FDR, he had a major depression to handle. who's passed more legislation, who's done more things than what we've done. Between the executive orders and the job-killing regulations that have been terminated, 700,000 jobs have been created in a very short period of time since the election. If we would have said that almost $4 trillion in the stock markets has been created, everybody would have laughed at us. They would have said, "Oh, that's ridiculous." But that's what it is.
Mr. President, it's a privilege to serve the students of this country.
We're engaged with our allies to ensure that they know where our common interests lie, what our expectations are.
It's an honor to represent the men and women of the Department of Defense, and we are grateful for the sacrifices our people are making in order to strengthen our military.
It's an incredible privilege to lead the men and women who are providing intelligence so that we can do the national security mission. And in the finest tradition to say, I'm not going to say a damn thing in front of the media.
And you saw a guy,
Carson will.
Yeah, you saw a guy leading in there to look at Mike Pompeo eye to eye, and it was Dr. Ben Carson, now HUD Secretary. Welcome, Mr. Secretary.
Very good to be back.
What was the first cabinet meeting like?
It was wonderful. You know, we talk about how we're going to get the American people working again and bring confidence back to people. And the nice thing about this particular cabinet, we have a lot of people here who know how to do things, you know, operators. And you bring that business savvy and you start doing things that make sense and based on evidence and not on ideology.
Sure.
And you'll see a lot of things happening. We're already seeing, you know, tremendous savings at HUD.
In what way?
Just in terms of how we're using the dollars and getting much more bang for the buck. And what we're doing is we've brought in a COO, Chief Operating Officer. We're nominating a CFO, a CIO, so we can take the big, broader view of things, fix things on a holistic manner rather than just a little spot here and a little spot there.
Sure. But Dr. Carson, you know that as you are trying to help the president pass his agenda, there are all those people in Washington, in the swamp. They want to talk about Russia and they want to talk about collusion and they want to make sure that you guys don't get anything done.
Well, you know, they can try, but you know, there are some of us who are pretty laser focused on what we're doing. It's sort of like when you're in an operating room. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. You know, you're dealing with that particular situation. And the nice thing is the cabinet is working across silos. So, you
what does that mean?
It means that this department is working with this department. Mm-hmm. In the past, you know, we've had to create interagency councils, and some of them have been very helpful.
Blondieren? Färben? Glätten? Mein Haar muss in Rehab. Greift zur Superfruit Amla-Öl. Das neue Fructis Schadenlöscher-Shampoo. Für sofort gestärktes und repariertes Haar. Angereichert mit Fructose und Protein. Kräftigeres Haar. Schäden aus einem Jahr sind nach 3 Anwendungen gelöscht. Endlich Superhaar. Neu. Fructis Schadenlöscher. Superfruits, super Hair. Garnier.
To gather all that information and to be able to process it, particularly when it comes to trying to design new and different methods of getting things done, because we're not satisfied just putting people in a dwelling. We need to develop the American people.
When the president went with you back to your hometown and you saw what it was like for you growing up, I think he was moved by it, and I think that's part of the reason why you're in this position. You have a lot of autonomy, but if the president can't produce for the inner city, that would be a big promise not delivered. What are you doing?
We are going to produce. There's no question about that. There are a number of things that we're doing. First of all, creating much easier methods of public-private partnerships, because the money is not in the government. The money is in the private sector, but you have to create win-win situations. You look at things like the RAD program, the Rental Assistance Demonstration, where we're leveraging dollars 19 to 1. That's going to make a big difference. We're looking at, you know, communities. So it doesn't do any good to build a big project without having health care, without having appropriate types of education.
Right.
And most importantly, job creation. Like Section 3, it requires that if you're getting federal funding, that you hire local people. But there's the skills gap.
Yeah.
And that's what they always say. Well, we don't have the people with the skills. You have a brain, though.
Right.
Which means you know a year ahead of time or 2 years ahead of time that you're doing that. Train the people then so that now you have the skills. That's something that we have to get back to. Teaching people basic skills. I used to know that when I was in high school. I knew how to operate a drill press and a lathe and build an electric motor.
Not anymore.
You've talked about operating, you've talked about the brain, you are a neurosurgeon, so let's talk about Obamacare. The president and the vice president are going to meet with 13 Republican senators today to talk about how they can pass this bill through, how they can repeal and replace.
Right.
What needs to be done, and are we going to see this done in the next year or so?
I'm very hopeful that they're going to get it done and recognize that the system that we have in place right now, maybe people meant well. You know, I don't like to sit around and denigrate people. But the fact of the matter is we have millions of people who are losing care, who essentially don't have care because their premiums are so high. The deductibles are so high. It's like not even having insurance. So we've got to get back, take it out of the political realm. We have the ability to fix this.
Sure, June is June is home ownership month, and you're going to be ringing the closing bell this afternoon. What's the message?
Actually, I rang the bell yesterday, and the message was home ownership is one of the key factors in the financial foundation of this country. It's the primary mechanism whereby families accumulate wealth. The average net worth of families with a home is $200,000. Renters is $5,000. Huge difference. We need to start changing that paradigm. We have to have programs when we do have people who are renters that will lead them to a path of home ownership.
So they got to be able to afford it, because last time we got ourselves in a lot of trouble.
Exactly. You're not doing anybody any favors. You put them in a home they can't afford. They lose their home, they lose their credit, and they lose their future opportunities.
So you've got $400 billion out there that is available for people to make that all-American dream come true, right?
400 in one program, 500 billion in another program. So yes, we have a lot of mechanisms.
How do the folks who are watching right now, how do they look at that as being a resource that they might use?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because all they need to do is go to the HUD website, hub.com, and it will tell you about all the different programs, and there are multiple ways for people to get this information. There are 2,100 counseling organizations throughout the country.
Wow.
We're working with the counselors to make sure that they give people appropriate information.
Right. And you had some criticism for saying that success is a mindset, that poverty is a mindset. Do you back off that comment?
Not at all. You know, what I said is it's partly a process of how you think. And I know that from experience. I knew there was a time when I thought I was stupid. I didn't think that, you know, my destiny was in my own hands. I started reading. I started reading everything. My whole world changed. I have a different view of things now. When people tell me something can't be done, I just say, well, maybe you can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even think that way anymore.
You worked so hard, knowing your background, single mom, several kids, right? She worked so hard to get you out of housing the government was paying for,
right.
And you became a neurosurgeon, and then you're ringing the bell, and now you're the HUD secretary.
Right.
So what's your message to the people out there that are having a hard time and they want to get a leg up?
Well, there are a couple of messages. Number one, the person who has the most to do with what happens to you in life is you.
Yep.
Nobody else. And the other one is, we're all in the same boat. And if part of the boat sinks, the rest of it's going down too. So we need to care about each other. Stop allowing ourselves to be manipulated by those people who are trying to drive wedges so that they can get their agenda through. We have an agenda as Americans, and that is liberty and justice for all.
There you go. All right, Dr. Ben Carson, thank you very much for making a couch call today.
Beautiful studio. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. All right. Meanwhile, coming up straight ahead,
The Democrats are looking for a new leader of their party, and this could be their man.
The current model and the current strategy of the Democratic Party is an absolute failure.
Wait, he's a socialist, isn't he? But liberals want to draft Bernie Sanders and form a new party. Is that a good idea? We're going to have a debate straight ahead.
He's not even technically a Democrat. Plus, advertisers fleeing the New York production of Julius Caesar after it depicts the killing of President Trump. But CNN's parent company sticking to its sponsorship. Rob Schmitter's here to try to make sense of it.
Sports Update is brought to you by the all-new 7-seater Volkswagen Atlas. Life's as big as you make it.
The all-new Volkswagen Atlas. Seat 7, sleep 6. Life's as big as you make it.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend a Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. Thankfully, there's Home Advisor. A Home Advisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. They have verified reviews of the pros, and they do background checks, so you know you can trust them with your home. You can compare prices, book appointments, and what my wife loves most is that Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Child arrived just the other day. Came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. So I moved my meat and saw him walk that day. He was talking for renewing, and as he grew, he say, "I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you." And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon.
When you booked this trip, you didn't know we had over 26,000 local activities listed on our app, or that you could book them right from your phone. A few weeks ago, you still didn't know if you were going to go. Now the only thing you don't know is why it took you so long to come here. Expedia. Everything in one place so you can travel the world better.
As moms, we send our kids out into the world full of hope.
And we don't want something like meningitis B getting in their way.
Meningococcal group B disease, or meningitis B, is real. Bexsero is a vaccine to help prevent meningitis B in 10 to 25-year-olds.
Even if meningitis B is uncommon, that's not a chance we're willing to take.
Meningitis B is different from the meningitis most teens were probably vaccinated against when younger.
We're getting the word out against meningitis B. Our teens are getting Bexsero.
Bexsero should not be given if you had a severe allergic reaction after a previous dose. Most common side effects are pain, redness or hardness at the injection site, muscle pain, fatigue, headache, nausea, and joint pain. Bexsero may not protect all individuals. Tell your healthcare professional if you're pregnant or if you've received any other meningitis B vaccines. Ask your healthcare professional about the risks and benefits of Bexsero and if vaccination with Bexsero is right for your teen.
Mom, we can't wait.
To Fox and Friends on this Tuesday morning, some quick headlines for you. Attorney General Jeff Sessions isn't the only one in the hot seat today. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is also set to testify before lawmakers. It's the first in a series of 4 hearings this week, expected to cover President Trump's budget, foreign affairs, and the alleged links between the Trump administration and Russia. Secretary Tillerson has not testified publicly since his confirmation in January. All right, you gotta see this story. This guy strikes out big time. His marriage proposal taking a turn for the worse. Get this, the proposal, as you can see, is on display in front of thousands of fans at a minor league baseball game in South Carolina. The woman doesn't only say no, she kisses the guy on the cheek and takes off while grabbing her purse, leaving him there just on his knees by himself. That is very tragic. It's something that he is never, ever going to forget, guys.
Now we're showing everybody.
Yep,
All right,
everyone
Jillian,
knows.
Thank you. All right, 13 minutes before the top of the hour. Thanks, Jillian. There's growing pressure on sponsors supporting a disgusting play in New York City.
It violently shows the assassination of what appears to be President Trump.
Rob Schmidt joins us right now with who's in and who's out of sponsoring this controversial performance.
Yeah, and that is the big question, is how many more sponsors will stop funding the Shakespeare in the Park interpretation of Julius Caesar, depicting the assassination of what appears to be President Trump. Delta, Bank of America, both donate hundreds of thousands of dollars. They have dropped their support. A more tempered response by American Express, which will continue to support the program, but not this particular play. The New York Times and CNN's parent company Time Warner is still on board. In fact, CNN anchor Fareed Zakaria openly tweeting praise, saying if you're in NYC, go see Julius Caesar free in Central Park, brilliantly interpreted for the Trump era, a masterpiece, he said. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio says the city will continue to fund the program, saying, quote, I think it's a very slippery slope and a very dangerous situation in a democracy in the cultural to interfere in the cultural process. There's that quote there. The theater company now saying the controversy was expected and the performance in no way advocates violence toward anyone. This comes just a couple of weeks after comedian Kathy Griffin posed for a photo holding a prop right here of the president's bloody head, a move that has pretty much at this point destroyed her career. Shakespeare in the Park has provided free public theater in New York City for about 60 years now and has seen a number of Hollywood A-listers perform. But this one, of course, has inspired a lot of controversy. So basically, you've seen some sponsors drop out. Amex kind of saying, we're not going to sponsor this one. We don't like this play. We're still going to support the program. It is a good program. I think a lot of people think they've gone way too far on this end. Yeah.
And a lot of banks get included queasy. So then when these banks drop out, people that love the play or hate Trump say, okay, now I'm not going to bank with you because you boycotted, because you bailed out of this play.
And everything is political. Everything is political.
Thanks, Shakespeare. Appreciate it.
I've seen a production there, and of course they did make it political. Right. Some people in the audience were cracking up about it. Some people were not. But there was no assassination of the president. There was no beheading of the president.
Just before the top of the hour, you've heard from the student Trump supporters at the center of the yearbook controversy, right? Listen.
It is a violation of mine and other people's First Amendment rights, and that's wrong.
This morning, the Photoshopper has been unmasked.
Look at that picture. They took that. It's unbelievable. Plus, Democrats are looking for a new leader, and this could be their man.
Current model and the current strategy of the Democratic Party is an absolute failure.
Liberals want to draft socialist Bernie Sanders to form a new party. Will that actually work? We're going to debate it next.
Funny.
When they try to get to you, baby, I'll be the fighter. What if I fall? I won't let you fall. What if I cry? I'll never make you cry. If I quit, I won't get tired.
I try hard to get a great shape. This I can do easily. Benefiber Healthy Shape is a clear, taste-free, 100% natural daily fiber that's clinically proven to help me feel fuller, longer. Benefiber Healthy Shape. This I can do.
What's the story behind Green Mountain Coffee and fair trade? Let's take a flight to Colombia. This is Boris Calvo. Boris grows mind-blowing coffee, and because we pay him a fair price, he improves his farm and invests in his community to make even better coffee, all for a smoother tasting cup. Green Mountain Coffee.
My business is built with passion, but I keep it growing by making every dollar count. That's why I have the Smart Cash Card from Capital One. With it, I earn unlimited 2% cash back on all of my purchasing. And that unlimited 2% cash back from Smart means thousands of dollars each year going back into my business, which adds fuel to my bottom line. What's in your wallet?
Jeff Sessions, the full story. The attacks, his answers. Where do we go from here? Sean gets real about what's next for the administration. Expert analysis tonight on Hannity.
Introducing Works Pegasus, a next-generation all-in-one work table and clamping system. Ordinary work tables can't compete. Pegasus has integrated clamps that hold materials tight at any angle. Steel reinforcement makes Pegasus super strong. To prove it, we at Pegasus support a car. Sets up in seconds and folds flat for easy storage. Strong, versatile, portable. A workspace, any place. The Works Pegasus.
You're searching for something, like the perfect deal on the perfect hotel. So wouldn't it be perfect if there was a single site where you could find the right hotel for you at the best price? There is, because TripAdvisor now compares prices from over 200 booking sites to save you up to 30% on the hotel you want. Trust this bird's words. TripAdvisor, the latest reviews, the lowest prices.
Take one. Let's talk about when you got braces for the first time.
I did have to wear headgear.
Pieces of metal in your mouth. Popping off rubber bands. I'm breaking off brackets.
Anytime I had to talk, I was like, hey.
And by the end, my teeth moved back
Again.
Have you ever heard of invisible aligners?
I've never heard of such a thing, honestly.
At Smile Direct Club, we believe you shouldn't have to wear braces to get a smile you'll love. We straighten and brighten smiles for 70% less by working directly with top dentists to ship custom invisible aligners direct to you. Each month, we'll send you new aligners that continue to gently straighten your teeth, and our smile guarantee makes getting started risk-free.
Super cool, super cute, looks just like my teeth.
Wow, $99 a month. Really?
You never have to go into the dentist's office.
Keep my full smile back, feel confident again.
Why would anyone go back to having braces again, especially as an adult? I really wish this was there when I was a kid. I'm ready to go sign up wherever it is. Is it out there?
The current model and the current strategy of the Democratic Party is an absolute failure. The Democratic Party needs fundamental change. Fundamental change.
Frustrated progressives agreeing with Bernie Sanders. Their solution? Draft him to form a third party and split Democrats altogether. But is that a good idea? Here to debate, we've got Bold.Global founder Carrie Sheffield and Hillary Clinton's former director of strategic communications, Adrian Elrod. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
All right, so first of all, he's not a Democrat. He's a socialist. If they start a third party, that's not good for the Democrats, is it?
I think it's a great idea. I think they should do it. I'm all for it. So
Because
please,
it would split
please.
the party. That's why you like it.
Yeah, it would split the vote because, you know what, this country, if they're trying to create a new party, it would have to come from the middle. But the fact that they're trying to create a party from the left suggests to me they don't understand the American people. Look, every American child should have to read a book that's called Bernie Sanders Has Three Houses. And that's the reality, is that he does. He's so out of touch. He thinks that he knows better than me. I don't even own one house. I wish I could have a house, but I'm paying tax money to Bernie Sanders, who has three houses, including a fancy house.
Bernie Sanders is a very rich socialist as things go, but isn't he too old to run for president?
Well, look, I don't know
Again?
that. I'm not going to get into age here. I'm not going to get into age here.
79.
But what I will say is if you're going to run for the Democratic Party, if you're going to run to be the nominee of the Democratic Party, be a Democrat.
Right.
Claim the Democratic Party as your own, and that is an issue that I have. And a lot of my friends from the Clinton campaign have a lot of issues with is you know, the fact that he's gone out there and said that he's not a Democrat.
Right.
And you know, people have also complained a lot about the Democratic Party and where things stand. We all need to come together and fix the issues that we're dealing with.
Right, and the things that Bernie Sanders has stood for through the last couple of years are not the things that the establishment Democratic Party stands for.
Well, look, again, we're a big tent party, which is one of the great things about the Democratic
Party.
Party.
You're not a socialist party.
Which is why I'm proud to be a Democrat. But at the end of the day, if you are going to run to represent the Democratic Party for president, be a Democrat.
I also think that the reality is that Bernie Sanders is the more natural heir ideologically of Barack Obama. Barack Obama has more socialistic tendencies than Hillary Clinton. I think that's there was this massive schism in the Democratic Party. The party is in total disarray. What I find offensive about this comparison these liberals are trying to make is to say this is like, you know, what happened with the Republican Party and Abraham Lincoln. Totally wrong, because you know what? Abraham Lincoln did something noble. He freed the slaves. Bernie Sanders would put us in slavery, in debt. He would saddle my generation, millennials, with so much debt. He just doesn't understand what it means to be American.
Exit question, is it going to happen? Will he form a third party, yes or no?
I hope not. I hope he does.
All right, fair and balanced debate. Carrie and Adrian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, in our next hour, that starts in 3 minutes, Laura Ingraham is joining us, followed by Dr. Emmnuel
And the most interesting man in the world, Dr. Jonathan Goldsmith. All here live as you look at New York City.
It's okay that everybody ignores me when I drive. It's fine, because I get a safe driving bonus check every 6 months. I'm accident free. Because I don't use my cell phone when I'm driving, even though my family does and leaves me all alone. Here's something else. I don't share it with Mom. I don't. Right, Mom? I have a brand new putter you don't even know about. It's awesome.
Safe driving bonus checks only from Allstate.
Sometimes I leave the seat up on purpose.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
I had so many reasons for not losing weight, for putting it off. Sound familiar? It's time to take control with Nutrisystem.
Introducing new Lean 13 from Nutrisystem. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. Lose weight fast. Money back guaranteed.
You gain energy, you improve your health, and you lose weight. I'm Marie, and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day plan right now. With Lean 13, you'll get specially designed meals, plus 1 week of new NutriCrush bars to crush cravings free, and 1 week of Turbo Shakes to bust belly bloat free.
Belly fat? Got that under control, too.
Call or go online in the next 2 minutes and we'll even throw in FedEx shipping free. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall your first month. Millions of people have lost weight on Nutrisystem.
It's time to take control.
Go online or call 888-526-THIN right now and get new Lean 13 with bars and shakes free. 12 blades, 11.5 moisture strips, and laser chin detection system.
Hey man, you don't need to pay for all that to get a great shave when you can ride off on this for just a few bucks.
Amazing razors and grooming products. Try DollarShaveClub.com. Home is where we bust a move. But when you bust something else, trust Angie's List to help. Visit Angie'sList.com today.
Before fibromyalgia, I was a doer.
I was active. Then the chronic, widespread pain drained my energy. My doctor said moving more helps ease fibromyalgia pain. She also prescribed Lyrica.
Fibromyalgia is thought to be the result of overactive nerves. Lyrica is believed to calm these nerves.
For some, Lyrica can significantly relieve fibromyalgia pain and improve function.
So I feel better.
Lyrica may cause serious allergic reactions or suicidal thoughts or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these, new or worsening depression, or unusual changes in mood or behavior, or swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, muscle pain with fever, tired feeling, or blurry vision. Common side effects are dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, and swelling of hands, legs, and feet. Don't drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. Don't drive or use machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Those who have had a drug or alcohol problem may be more likely to misuse Lyrica.
With less pain, I can be more active.
Ask your doctor about Lyrica.
The stage set on Capitol Hill, where in just hours, Attorney General Jeff Sessions will take the hot seat.
And he will dispute what James Comey said last week.
I sense that he just cannot wait to knock out of the park.
Glad Jeff's testifying today. He will acquit himself very well. He'll answer the questions. But it's time to move on to the things that people care about.
The real collusion going on appears to be between the Clinton campaign, the Obama administration, Loretta Lynch, and James Comey.
If Attorney General Lynch made law enforcement decisions for political purposes, that's called misconduct in office, and Jeff Sessions should investigate her.
This is our first cabinet meeting with the entire cabinet.
We talk about how we're going to get the American people working again and bring confidence back to people.
Our commander-in-chief and his special advisor, Ivanka Trump, are heading to Wisconsin today, focusing on the administration's job program.
College is not for everyone. He's going to say that.
I really got to hand it to the president. I asked him to make this a priority. That's exactly what they're doing this week.
Proof we have more of a show left? Look at the zipper. Look at all the guests that still have to get in here. Can we get them all in just an hour?
Hope so. Laura Ingraham is joining us right now as we bring you the television show live from the mezzanine level, and she's down in our nation's capital. Laura, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys.
Okay, so the President of the United States and Ivanka are going to go out to Wisconsin later today. They're talking jobs and apprentice programs and the skills gap in the United States. But at the same time, Jeff Sessions is going to be sitting down on Capitol Hill talking about Comey and Mueller and all that stuff.
What I think is interesting is they're going to Wisconsin and talking about the economy.
Right.
How do we get people to transition into the workforce that's changing in the United States? Those are things that actually a lot of liberals have been asking for. Apprenticeships and developing new talents, whether it's tech or STEM for young women, workplace accommodations. I mean, that's not really the conservative palette right off the bat. However, those things are kind of popular among a wide swath of the public. But here's the rub. Today, Jeff Sessions decides he's going to testify. Congress schedules it, and that's all people are going to be watching.
Yeah.
So again, the administration kind of steps on its own narrative by, continuing this conversation about the Russia probe that now seems to be a probe into something else. But Jeff Sessions clearly believes he needs to write the record. And knowing him as long as I've known him, he has something significant to say today. And I think it's going to be something everyone's going to be watching. And again, he's got to be careful when he testifies. But he's not a dummy. He's a smart guy, and I think it's going to be well worth the watch.
You know what I think is so great? The president did not fuel the fire yesterday. He kept it on his message. He kept it on his cabinet. So therefore, the other networks that are living off his tweets and try to get storylines from them have to go work and make things up and go off base. And it's really becoming clearer and clearer that there's no there when it comes to collusion. And if he stays on this message, he's going to make it very difficult for a lot of the enemies in the media.
I think it's great for the president to use tweets to talk about the positive aspects of his agenda. I think we need more positive things from the administration. Right. I want to see,
like today.
Yeah, I mean, this is all good stuff. Again, it's going to get stepped on quite a bit, I think, from Sessions, but that's okay. I mean, things aren't going to turn around overnight. This is going to take some time for the administration to start, I think, righting this ship into the direction of economic renewal, growth, and really putting the spotlight back on the never-Trumpers, both in the Republican Party, many of them who do not want him to be successful, and of course on the far left who want to resist anything he does and ultimately want to remove him from office. So the more he is the champion of the forgotten man, the theme he struck so brilliantly during the campaign, the more he looks like the beacon, and they look like the storm. You want the beacon to be shining really brightly in the middle of a storm. He needs to be the beacon. We don't want him to be the storm.
Isn't that what President Clinton did?
Yeah, well, President Clinton said, I'm going to get back to the work of the American people. And I know that the president doesn't want to appear like he has anything to hide. Bill Clinton did have something to hide. So I know the president's probably thinking, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Bill Clinton was trying to hide something. So he always wants to defend the defenseless and when it comes to the workforce. And I think in this case, he truly believes that this is hurting the country. That's what he believes. So if he believes that, his instinct is to smash back. But in this case, let me just say, as a lawyer who used to practice in this area of the law of federal investigations and big white-collar criminal investigations, less said, the better said. Less said, better said. Let the investigation go forward. I would stop talking about it, let the lawyers do their job, and let this proceed, I would hope, expeditiously for the sake of the country. That's what he should be doing. If I were advising him, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, well, Laura, let's talk about the Loretta Lynch bombshell that was released this morning. Circa News is doing a story. First of all, we knew, James Comey said last week, that he met with Loretta Lynch, and the first meeting she said, let's don't call the Hillary Clinton emails an investigation, let's call it a matter. Well, then today Circa News is reporting that then he met with her again, and he said, hey, that meeting you had with Bill Clinton on the tarmac, that is a conflict of interest. And then he hands her a document, and it's a highly sensitive document, and it was showing communication between two political figures, and apparently he hands it to her and he says, I have information that you said you agreed to put the kibosh on Hillary Clinton's investigation. She reads this, she looks at the document according to this report, she looks up with a steely silence, and it lasted for some time, Comey says, asked if he had other business with her, and then she asked, do you have more business with me? And if not, you need to leave my office.
Oh, boy.
Think about this. Think about how the left, when it came to the Trump meeting with Comey, has no problem inferring an attempt to impede an investigation when he said, I hope you can see an end to this. He's a good guy. Comey responds, he's a good guy. Talking about the firing. So think about that. Media infers intent to obstruct an investigation. What about this meeting? If Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General of the United States, looks at a subordinate, after he shows her a document, I'm dying to know what that document said, or how they intercepted the document. It sounds like it's an email communication. And shows it to her, and she stares at him. Could we infer an implicit threat against Comey? Right. If he acts on this? Could we infer that she's trying to impede an ongoing federal investigation? Right. If they're inferring it about Trump, why not infer it about Loretta Lynch?
And you know what?
I think we know the answer to that.
Sure. And you know what? Everybody in your town is talking about collusion with the Russians, and there's no evidence so far that happened between the Russians and the Trump campaign from what we know. But this is clear evidence that, he's showing her this document where there appears to be collusion between her and the Hillary Clinton campaign to win her the campaign.
But I'm not letting Comey off. But I'm not letting Comey off on this. Yeah, like altruistic intentions of Jim Comey here. I'm gonna sweep those aside for a moment, because if he had that document, didn't he think that he had an obligation to go to the president? I mean, did he not think he had an obligation to
maybe he did. Maybe he did.
Well, maybe he did. We have to have that examined. So the next question, of course, goes to Comey's friend Bob Mueller, who's the special counsel here. Are we going to see Bob Mueller take this seriously? Because now this is being used, apparently, according to the reports, this meeting with Loretta Lynch as his reason for doing that July 5th non-indictment, but damning non-indictment of Hillary Clinton's behavior with the email server. Everyone said, why did you do that press conference? That was out of the norm. He apparently, according to the reports about this closed-door session last week, he said, because of Loretta Lynch's reaction to this memo I showed her, this email, we don't know what it was, but it was a conversation, as you said, between two well-placed politicos that seemed to indicate that she shut down that investigation. Where was Comey? Why didn't Comey take this to the president? And if he did, what did President Obama do about that? Now, we don't know. This is what Bob Mueller would have to investigate. Sure. But I bet the president, if that was done, he's gonna try to claim some executive privilege after the fact.
A couple of things. On May 17th, Trey Gowdy had something very telling in an interview with Martha McCallum. I wish everyone would go back and look at the story, because he can't give away closed-door meetings, but he did indicate a lot more detail on this without giving up the top secret level that he has. Also, it's very interesting that nothing leaks out of that meeting. We get leaks constantly from closed doors. We don't get this. I want to transition to Bob Mueller. And we know the story yesterday. Chris Ruddy, who runs Newsmax and is tight with the president, came out with a story that the president's considering firing Robert Mueller. Well, the word is now we have John Roberts reporting this morning that Chris Ruddy got that information from watching Jay Sekulow do a Sunday interview. And Jay Sekulow never said that he was going to be fired. So the White House pushed back on it and said, listen, the president, it's wrong. The president never said that. The president speaks for himself or through Sean Spicer, so dismiss it. Now, the front page of the New York Times, what happens if he does that? Everyone weighing in, this will be worst thing possible. Adam Schiff, I dare you to do it. So now they're running with that storyline. However, Robert Mueller is setting up like the best legal minds in the country to examine this. And some would wonder if he's going to do this. There's remnants of his background. If in the back of his mind, he's going to look to get revenge for James Comey on some level. That's the fear among people that want to see the truth come out.
On the first matter, this is fake news. This is an example of the establishment media being agenda-driven to drive the president out of office, and being lazy. Oh, and being stupid. So that's a evil triple of a threat against objectivity in the media. Stupidity, and they're agenda-driven, and these people are completely lazy. So that's 3 against the media. Chris Ruddy, I adore him. He's a friend of mine. I think he's probably going to clarify this later today, but it doesn't matter. Even if Chris Ruddy, even if he misstated this, it sounds like he did. He got it from the Sekulow conversation on the Sunday show. Sekulow is not a lawyer of the president, by the way, as the LA Times is reporting this morning. So I imagine he'll correct that. But even if he said that, isn't it incumbent upon the American media to kind of chase it down and to verify whether that's true? No, they didn't do that because they want to drive the president out of office. Everyone who's watching this right now understand that. There is a concerted effort on the part of some never-Trumpers in the Republican caucus on Capitol Hill, and we know who they are, the media and the left, to drive the president out of office. It's incumbent upon objective people in the media and smart analysts and in the White House itself to keep their eye on the prize. The American people are smart. They see unfairness when it exists. This is patently unfair and untrue. This is fake news, and shame on all the other cable networks New York Times, Washington Post for going with us. This is fake and false, and it's defamatory, and it's outrageous.
Agenda, stupid, lazy.
Thank you, Lori Group. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. It's always breaking news when we have you on. We appreciate it.
I know. Thanks.
All right, 12 minutes out after the hour.
All right, coming up on the rundown for this Tuesday, President Trump heads to Wisconsin later today, as we were just chatting with Laura about, with this message for America. College is not your only option, young people. We're live with the president's new job plan coming up.
And now you see it, now you don't. A major update of the advisor of this school yearbook that edited out all the signs of President Trump. Okay, they were pro-Trump.
I was always the girl with psoriasis. People don't stare anymore.
I never joined in. That wasn't fair to any of us.
I was covered. I tried lots of things over the years.
But I didn't give up.
I kept on fighting.
I found something that worked.
That still works.
Now, see me.
See me.
I found clear skin that lasts.
See if Cosentix could make a difference for you. Cosentix is proven to help people with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis find clear skin that can last. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting Cosentix, you should be checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you've received a vaccine or plan to. If you have inflammatory bowel disease, tell your doctor if symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
See me to know.
Clear skin can last.
Don't hold back. Ask your dermatologist if Cosentix can help you find clear skin that lasts.
The all-new Discovery. Land Rover, above and beyond.
While everyone is talking about rising drug prices, Blink Health is doing something about it. Go to blinkhealth.com and save up to 95% on your prescriptions today.
This is Jim. He's a proud hotel owner, but Jim is frustrated because his beautiful room is not being booked on his website. To cut his losses, he offers it on a popular travel website and a discount website for a reduced price. Why should you care? Because his room is now on 3 different websites for 3 different prices. But on Trivago, you find all of these prices on one site. That's how Trivago finds your ideal hotel for the best price. Hotel Trivago.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and co-insurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book and DVD. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. Call 1-800-552-8894.
When Mom passed, we couldn't keep her house. My sister suggested Homevestors, the We Buy Ugly Houses people. We scheduled a no-risk consultation, and Mark was so nice. He gave us a cash offer right away.
Visit WeBuyUglyHouses.com or call 800-44-BUYER.
Fox News Channel on Sirius XM. Your favorite shows on Channel 114. Plus every story, every 15 minutes. Fox News headlines 24/7. Channel 115.
All right, President Trump once again keeping a key campaign promise. trying to put America back to work.
Our commander-in-chief and his special advisor, Ivanka Trump, heading to Wisconsin, focusing on jobs.
Meanwhile, Griff Jenkins is live in Washington, D.C. at his perch overlooking the Capitol with details. Griff?
Hey, Stephen Ainsley, that's right. The president and his daughter and special advisor Ivanka heading to Wisconsin to tour a technical college with Governor Scott Walker, promoting technical skills training and apprenticeships as part of what they are calling Workforce Development Week. Ivanka was on this program yesterday talking about that, noting that there's a viable path for Americans other than a four-year college experience, stressing the importance of skills-based training and education.
There are 6 million available American jobs. So we're constantly hearing from CEOs that they have job openings, but they don't have workers with the skill set they need to fill those jobs.
Right.
So really bridging that gap and bringing experience-based education to the forefront.
And Governor Walker, who was just on this program in the last hour, says those are the skills that are much needed right now in Wisconsin.
We've got jobs, and we just need to have people with the skills and the qualifications and the education they need to fill them. This morning, just looking at our state website, jobcenterwisconsin.com, we've got 96,901 jobs just listed on that one website alone. And so I think Ivanka was right yesterday when she said, all across America, we certainly here in Wisconsin, we've got jobs. We just need to connect people to the skills.
And we may hear from the president later this afternoon. He's expected to make remarks in the early, say, 4 o'clock area. Guys, we'll be watching.
All right, Griff, thank you.
Thank you, Griff. Great to see you. Well, he is one of the key architects of Obamacare, so how can we fix it? Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel lays out 3 simple steps. Live next.
And move over, Mr. President. It turns out Barron Trump, your son, could actually be a better salesman than his father when it comes to one item. What is it? We're going to tee that up next.
That's the sound of sunshine coming down. And that's the sound of sunshine coming down.
Men's Warehouse helps you celebrate the special men in your life with gifts like dress shirts, 3 for $99, shorts and t-shirts, all 50% off. Plus, buy one, get one free on more. Men's Warehouse.
Spring is here, and so are the allergens and pollen that come with it. Lucky for those who suffer from asthma and allergies, there's Stanley Steamer. Call or go online for our $99 special.
Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
Before I had the shooting, burning, pins and needles of diabetic nerve pain, these feet, like to style my dog as a kid, loved motherhood, rain or shine, and were pumped to open my own salon. But I couldn't bear my diabetic nerve pain any longer, so I talked to my doctor, and she prescribed Lyrica.
Nerve damage from diabetes causes diabetic nerve pain. Lyrica is FDA approved to treat this pain, from moderate to even severe diabetic nerve pain. Lyrica may cause serious allergic reactions, suicidal thoughts, or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these, new or worse depression, unusual changes in mood or behavior, swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, muscle pain with fever, tired feeling, or blurry vision. Common side effects: dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, swelling of hands, legs, and feet. Don't drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. Don't drive or use machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Those who've had a drug or alcohol problem may be more likely to misuse Lyrica.
Now I have less diabetic nerve pain, and I love grooming the next generation.
Ask your doctor about Lyrica.
It's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast.
It's not how fast you mow.
It's how well you mow fast.
They're not just words to mow by, they're words to live by. The John Deere Z-Track Z345R.
USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children. We're the Williams family, and we're USAA members for life.
The Jeff Sessions hearing. As questions surround the Attorney General, what will he reveal and how will it impact the White House? Full coverage starts today at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel.
The sun used to make our outdoor deck and patio space so hot and uncomfortable, we couldn't use it.
But then we discovered the Sunsetter retractable awning. Our Sunsetter retractable awning opens and closes in just 60 seconds. It keeps our patio about 20 degrees cooler.
It provides instant shade,
and instant protection from the sun's harmful rays.
And our Sunsetter costs under $700.
But now you can get your Sunsetter for as little as $599 when you call now to get this special $200 discount certificate and free awning idea kit.
We love our Sunsetter retractable awning, and you're going to love yours too.
Sunsetter awnings are assembled in America and guaranteed to last for years. So call now to get this free awning idea kit with DVD, plus your $200 Sunsetter discount certificate.
But this is a limited time offer.
Call now.
Call now for your free awning idea kit with DVD and $200 discount certificate. There's no obligation.
Good morning. Welcome back to Fox and Friends. We start with some headlines right now. And a Fox News alert. Authorities arresting a suspect in connection with the shooting death of a police officer. Lieutenant Patrick Weatherford was assisting another officer with a traffic stop near Little Rock, Arkansas, when he was ambushed. Lieutenant Weatherford was a 15-year veteran. The 41-year-old leaves behind a disturbing threat amid the recent wave of global terror, and it's not over. America is next. A new ISIS audio message spreading online, telling supporters to carry out attacks during Ramadan, not just in Europe, but here at home. The group praising attacks in the first weeks of Ramadan, including in London, Manchester, and Iran that killed dozens of people. The holy month ends June 24th. This morning, new reports of North Korea busted spying on our military sites. Authorities finding this North Korean drone crashed in South Korean territory. Photos found on the aircraft show a U.S. missile defense site. This as we get new video you see right here of Dennis Rodman touching down in North Korea to meet with Kim Jong-un. The purpose of his latest visit, still unclear. Steve?
I'm glad he's on the case. All right, Jillian, thank you. Meanwhile, what will the future of healthcare look like in this country, and what should medical organizations be doing right now to make sure that we all get the very best care?
Joining us with his diagnosis is Fox News contributor and Dr. Zeke Emmnuel. He lays out it all in his new book called Prescription for the Future. Good morning, doctor. Thank you for being with us.
Great to be here.
So
first time on the couch.
Oh, what do you think?
It's only our first week on it.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, what are some key practices that are necessary for Obamacare to succeed?
For Obamacare to succeed, well,
or the new one.
The really big important thing that the Republicans need to do is to get rid of the uncertainty about what's going to happen. Uncertainty, insurance companies hate uncertainty. And
do something.
Yeah, you have to be very clear about what you're going to do. Otherwise, as we've seen, insurance rates go up. Insurance companies say it's not clear we can make any money in this circumstance. We're leaving marketplaces. Uncertainty is very bad, and what we have now throughout the system is uncertainty.
We're in between.
Are you going to?
We're in between plans.
Well, you assume there's going to be something else. I don't assume there's going to be something else. I mean, what's been proposed is not a very good thing. 23 million people losing insurance is not a recipe for a good process.
So one of the things you say is get the mandate back. You want people mandated to buy insurance or pay that fine.
The American public wants people with pre-existing conditions like cancer or heart disease or diabetes to be able to get insurance at a reasonable price.
That's different.
The only way you can do that is if everyone buys insurance, healthy and sick. And that is what the mandate is meant to do.
Right.
You cannot do it any other way. You want pre-existing condition exclusions, right? You have to have a mandate.
But you know there are people who have Obamacare. There are employers who have to provide it, and they say it's a disaster. My daughter's got it, and she's hated it the 2 years she's had it.
Well, look, attitudes are all over the
map. It's so expensive, and she's been unable to use it because it's been so expensive.
It's much less expensive with subsidies. The vast majority of people get subsidies. People who are feeling the pinch, it's about affordability. It's about can we afford it? And we all knew this was going to be a problem. We need to get to a system that's higher quality but lower cost. What's problematic about the Republican approach is this first bill of theirs has nothing about affordability. They're not going to reduce the premium. So your complaints about Obamacare are not addressed in this bill. And that's the real problem. It's all about...
That's going to be a problem for the Republicans.
It's a problem. Look, let's be honest. It's a problem for all of us. Healthcare costs $1 out of every $6 in our wallet. Right. It's a big problem. And part of what I wanted to do in the book was to go around the country and say, all right, what are people doing that's really high quality care and low cost? Right here in New York, up in Westchester County, WestMed doing some really brilliant things. And we went from New York all the way to Hawaii, and you can see different pockets, people doing great health.
Right, and this book is extremely well researched, and it's up for debate at an extremely high level. One thing is get rid of fee-for-service.
Yes.
Right? So if I break my ankle or I need brain surgery, it's costing me the same.
The problem is doctors and hospitals now get paid to treat you when you're sick. Doctors don't get paid to keep you healthy. We have to change how we pay them so that they're thinking different.
So I'm paying them every month. I'm paying them every month whether I need them or not. That's back to the insurance.
The insurance companies need to pay what's either a bundle payment, that is, you break your hip, we're going to give you one price, $22,000 wherever it is, and hospitals, doctors have to be efficient. Or we're also going to give you what's called capitation, a set price to cover everything. And then I think, all right, how can I keep you healthy? Rather than wait for you to get sick or wait for you to come to me, I'm going to begin reaching out to you and get you to eat better, make sure you get your immunizations, make sure you're actually taking your medicines. That change in psychology will only come if we incentivize doctors.
We had the HUD secretary, Dr. Ben Carson, also a doctor, a neurosurgeon on,
so I'm leaving.
as you know. Okay, so he was on our show, and we asked him, are we close to this? Will we see this in the next year or so getting passed in Congress? And this is what he said, and we'll get your reaction.
I'm very hopeful that they're going to get it done and recognize that the system that we have in place right now, maybe people meant well. I don't like to sit around and denigrate people, but the fact of the matter is we have millions of people who are losing care, who essentially don't have care because their premiums are so high. The deductibles are so high. It's like not even having insurance. So we've got to get back, take it out of the political realm. We have the ability to fix this.
You're shaking your head. Yes, you agree with him?
Look, the deductibilities is a big problem. Yeah. I agree. That's the affordability problem. If I've got a $5,000 deductible plan, it really covers me only with a disaster like cancer or a car accident or a bad heart attack. We have to get to more affordability. But as I said, the Republican plan now being debated in the Senate doesn't have anything about affordability. What I tried to do in the book was to look at places that are actually delivering great care for a lower price, and there are a lot of them out there.
Right.
We need to get them across the country.
Well, maybe they'll buy the book and take a look, get an idea.
That's what I'm hoping.
Right. All right, the book is called Prescription for the Future. Doctor, thank you very much for making it.
And it's extremely readable and understandable. You don't have to be a physician to get
Thank you.
So it's definitely worthy of debate. Great to see you.
Thanks, Dr.
Nice to be here again.
Great to have you. All right, they don't call him Mad Dog for nothing. Defense Secretary James Mattis just took a major swing at the D.C. swamp.
And now you see it, now you don't. A major update on the high school controversy yearbook thing. The Photoshopper has been unmasked.
And I'll write your name. Migraines steal moments from my life, so I use Excedrin. It starts to relieve migraine pain in just 30 minutes. And it works on my symptoms too. Now moments lost to migraines are moments gained with Excedrin.
Introducing Lean 13 from Nutrisystem. Lose up to 13 pounds in your first month, guaranteed.
Lose up to 13 pounds fast with the new Lean 13 from Nutrisystem.
Your 13 can turn into 20, 30, 50, even more. I'm Marie and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem. You'll see results right away. Count, measure, meetings? No, not with Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day plan right now and we'll rush you Lean 13. Get specially designed meals, plus 1 week of new NutriCrush bars to crush cravings free. And 1 week of turbo shakes to bust belly bloat free.
Bye-bye, stubborn belly fat.
Call or go online in the next 2 minutes and we'll even throw in FedEx shipping free. Lose up to 13 pounds and 7 inches overall your first month.
Your first 13 pounds? Gone.
Go online or call 888-828-THIN right now and get new Lean 13 with bars and shakes free.
Barbecue sauce. King's Hawaiian.
Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue sauce. Finally, a barbecue sauce worth singing about. From King's Hawaiian Foods.
It's okay that everybody ignores me when I drive. It's fine, because I get a safe driving bonus check every 6 months I'm accident-free. Because I don't use my cell phone when I'm driving, even though my family does and leaves me all alone. Here's something else. I don't share it with Mom. I don't. Right, Mom? I have a brand new putter you don't even know about. It's awesome.
Safe driving bonus checks only from Allstate.
Sometimes I leave the seat up on purpose.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
When you connect better, everything comes together. Try it free at gotomeeting.com.
Coppertone versus the sun. Coppertone protection is water resistant and stops up to 98% of the sun's damaging UV rays. Coppertone, because protection matters.
Is that good? Yeah, it's perfect. Bees! Bees! Guys! Guys! Go, go, go!
The all-new Volkswagen Atlas with easy access third row. Life's as big as you make it.
Turned up to 11, dropping all dead on the dance floor. Somebody better call a doctor. She's a little heart stopper.
We should have used that music for Emmnuel a second
Or for
ago.
Dr. Ben Carson.
That's right. We've got a lot of doctors today. All right.
This next story is out of New Jersey. Where is this town in New Jersey?
Down the shore, and somebody was doctoring with the yearbook.
Yep.
A couple of students down in Wald, New Jersey, took pictures. They had President Trump's name on a sweater, as you can see right there, on a T-shirt, Trump Make America Great Again, on a sweater vest right there. And somebody at the yearbook staff airbrushed it out, photoshopped it out. Also, that young man, Wyatt, who was on the program yesterday, his sister was a freshman class president. She chose an inspirational quote from Donald Trump that was conveniently left out.
Yesterday you interviewed him. This is what he had to say.
I think that it would only be fair to make sure that all the yearbooks are reissued with our photos fully intact the way they should be, and with my sister's quote into the yearbook. And I think also that the people or person who did this should be held responsible, because it is a violation of mine and other people's First Amendment rights, and that's wrong.
So essentially you want to find out who the photoshopper is. You want to unmask them.
We want to unmask the photoshopper.
She's unmasked, and she's suspended, but evidently she's suspended with pay. And that is the advisor to the yearbook.
You said something funny in the last hour. Oh, great. They're still going to pay her. She doesn't have to come to work. She can go to the beach.
Yeah, already has a taxing position of yearbook advisor. I'm not sure they actually pay. In my school, they didn't even pay her for it. They just asked you to almost volunteer for it. But now she gets paid and hangs out in June, towards the end of school.
It's because they're still she's under investigation. They got to figure it out, I guess. Although it seems pretty easy. Did you do it or did you not?
It's Susan Parsons, a technical media teacher who's been teaching for 21 years, and she declined to comment. So did the school.
And we don't know that she's the actual person who photoshopped it out, but we do know she is responsible for the yearbook, and so pending this investigation. And Wyatt and his mother were actually meeting with the school yesterday to talk about what was going to be done. Right after that, then this woman gets suspended with pay, as Brian said. And as we heard from that soundbite, what he would like is he would like to have all of the yearbooks reprinted as they were.
Okay, that's probably not going to happen because they're about $80 a piece, or at least they were when we were growing up. All right, the superintendent did make a comment. She says there is nothing in our student dress code that would prevent a student from expressing his or her political views and support for a candidate for a political office via appropriate clothing. She goes on to say, rather, I applaud students for becoming involved in politics and for participation in our democratic society. So, glad to hear her say that.
She's going to make yearbooks great again.
All right. Hey, Julian.
Hey, good morning.
What's going on?
A lot of details to that story.
Can you
A lot of
believe the big
unknowns.
one? How about the big one that was totally wiped off the guy?
I know, but we will keep you updated on that story, that's for sure. The media firing sad attempts to downplay President Trump's first cabinet meeting, CNN calling it Soviet-like. Take a look.
This was beyond a photo op.
It was a bit cringeworthy, to say the least. It reminds me of the opposite reason as to why my parents brought me to this country from the former Soviet Union.
No, that looked like a Soviet-style meeting.
HUD Secretary Ben Carson joined us earlier. He said the meeting was the complete opposite.
It was wonderful. You know, we talked about how we're going to get the American people working again and bring confidence back to people. And the nice thing about this particular cabinet, we have a lot of people here who know how to do things.
The cabinet talked about the fight against ISIS, healthcare reform, and the budget. Defense Secretary James Mattis is slamming the swamp, blaming Congress for the decline in U.S. military readiness. Mattis scolding lawmakers during a hearing for failing to pass military budgets and imposing automatic spending cuts.
While nothing can compare to the heartache caused by the loss of our troops during these wars, no enemy in the field has done more to harm the combat readiness of our military than sequestration.
Mattis is asking Congress to pass the president's 2018 spending request of $639 billion on time to allow the military to appropriately plan. All right, move over, Melania Trump. It looks like Barron is now the fashion icon in the family. The first son's T-shirt with the words "The Expert" on the front, selling out in less than a day. The 11-year-old was wearing the J. Crew shirt when he and the First Lady officially moved into the White House. I don't know. Do you guys think he did that intentionally? Was that like a fashion thing, or that just happened to be the shirt he threw on that day and it caught like wildfire?
I think that was just the next thing in the pile.
Yep, I agree with you.
It's called, we're moving into the White House today. Wear whatever you have. Didn't pack up because he has to unpack when he gets inside.
Right.
There's got to be an exciting day for the family. Melania moving in, Barron moving in.
Plus the power of the internet. I mean, how many people looked at that thing and said, "How do I get that?" And then they Googled it. It's like,
all those T-shirts are so popular. He's an 11-year-old kid who wants to wear the expert on his shirt. It's J. Crew. They're very popular, the T-shirts with the messages.
I'm also hard to see. There's video out there of him juggling a soccer ball wearing a Barcelona T-shirt at the White House.
Oh my
So he's got to go hook up with a summer league now at the White House. That's the problem when your dad becomes president. You got to switch teams.
There you go. All right, meanwhile, straight ahead on this Tuesday, Attorney General Jeff Sessions on the hot seat today at 2:30 this afternoon. But is this all just one big fishing expedition? Our next guest has worked with the Attorney General, and he says, absolutely.
And you have seen these commercials.
The last time he flirted with danger, danger got clingy. He is the most interesting man in the world.
Now the most interesting man in the world is telling all, like about his decades-old long feud with one Hollywood A-lister. He's going to join us live coming up.
Wow, I want to do Secchi's.
As moms, we send our kids out into the world full of hope. And we don't want something like meningitis B getting in their way.
Meningococcal group B disease, or meningitis B, is real. Bexsero is a vaccine to help prevent meningitis B in 10 to 25-year-olds.
Even if meningitis B is uncommon, that's not a chance we're willing to take.
Meningitis B is different from the meningitis most teens were probably vaccinated against when younger.
We're getting the word out against meningitis B. Our teens are getting Bexsero.
Bexsero should not be given if you had a severe allergic reaction after a previous dose. Most common side effects are pain, redness or hardness at the injection site, muscle pain, fatigue, headache, nausea, and joint pain. Bexsero may not protect all individuals. Tell your healthcare professional if you're pregnant or if you've received any other meningitis B vaccines. Ask your healthcare professional about the risks and benefits of Bexsero and if vaccination with Bexsero is right for your teen.
Mom, we can't wait.
Your car will get scratched, but Quick's PSR will remove them. Quick's advanced technology fills scratches with surrounding paint and has been proven to be the best scratch remover available. So don't just fix it, Quix it at Walmart and these fine retailers.
At Farmers, we've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything, even a coop soup.
So beautiful.
Beautiful just like you.
And we covered it November 6, 2009. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Excuse me, are you aware of what's happening right now? We're facing 20 billion security events every day. DDoS campaigns, ransomware, malware attacks.
Actually, we just handled all the priority threats.
You did that?
We did that.
Really?
We analyze millions of articles and reports. We can identify threats 50% faster.
You can do that?
We can do that.
Then do that.
Can we do that? We can do that.
Think you know New York State? Think again. This is the new New York. We are building new airports all across the state. New roads and bridges. New mass transit. New business-friendly environment. New lower taxes. And new university partnerships to grow the businesses of tomorrow today. Learn more at esd.ny.gov.
You could fill a book with all the things you'll never learn from a book. Expedia. Everything in one place so you can travel the world better.
In his testimony last week, fired FBI Director James Comey seemed to indicate that Attorney General Jeff Sessions was of interest in the Russia investigation.
Our judgment, as I recall, was that he was very close to and inevitably going to recuse himself for a variety of reasons. We also were aware of facts that I can't discuss in an open setting that would make his continued engagement in a Russia-related investigation problematic.
Okay, so that was last week. Now, today, the Attorney General will be grilled by the Senate, but our next guest says ignore the fallout and get to know that man.
Former counsel to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Brian Darling, has worked with Senator Sessions when he was Senator Sessions and now joins us. Brian, why do you think he's coming out there today?
Well, I think he's coming out there to set the record straight. And the Jeff Sessions I know is a good man. I mean, as a preliminary matter, we need to understand this. I do believe this is a witch hunt. It's a fishing expedition, and it's all politics by the Democrats. I think Jeff Sessions, as senators know, they served with him. He's a good man. He's an honorable man. He served the state of Alabama with distinction as a senator, and I don't think if you get any of these senators alone in a room, even Democrats, they would have a bad word to say about Jeff Sessions.
Yeah, but you know what happens when you inject politics into things, Brian. Also, we understand, according to Axios, apparently Senator Sessions is going to say that that conversation in February he had with James Comey didn't happen the way that James Comey described it last week, which is a big thing because James Comey, just as Mr. Sessions, will both be under oath. So then it becomes, who do you believe?
Right. It does become who do you believe? And also it comes down to memories and who remembers these conversations more specifically. But ultimately, do we really think that Jeff Sessions colluded with the Russians to fix the election? No. Nobody believes that. So what are we doing? And the Senate is supposed to be investigating collusion by the Russians or Russian interference in the American
Brian,
election.
everything you're saying could be true. Everything you're saying could be true. However, they're going to ask him two tracks. They're going to say, why'd you fire Comey when you're supposed to recuse yourself on Russia, number one? And number two, they're going to say, why'd you meet with Kislyak and not tell anybody? And up to the debate is a meeting in the Mayflower Hotel. Where do you think that's going? What are his answers there?
Well, first of all, nothing precludes the Attorney General, even if he's recused from the Russian investigation, from talking and consulting with the President about firing James Comey. I mean, the President has a right to fire James Comey, and he did. And there was no element of that that precludes that because it doesn't necessarily touch on the Russian investigation. With regards to this alleged meeting at the Mayflower Hotel, I mean, they both remember it differently, and to be honest, is this really a big deal? I mean, we're talking about the potential obstruction of justice. That's not what we're supposed to be investigating. We're supposed to be investigating collusion.
Sure. I hear you. He's got to have answers for it.
Yeah. Hey, Brian, let me ask you this. Ultimately, you said this is a fishing expedition. And you've got Robert Mueller on here, who is now the special counsel. He's been a longtime associate and pal with James Comey. Are you okay with him running the investigation?
Well, I think there are problems. I think there obviously are problems, and he's hired a lot of individuals that contributed to Democrats. Also, he's very close with James Comey, and that creates a conflict of interest. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it, but ultimately, this should be an investigation about Russian interference in the American election, not this bogus fishing expedition and this witch hunt to see if somehow these Jeff Sessions and others lied under oath.
Yeah, and you know what? I thought both sides were remarkably nonpartisan with Comey. You could tell where they stood, but I thought they were very professional. They go in front of the same committee today with Warner as the ranking member and Senator Burr as the chairperson. So I expect a lot of that today, and especially with a guy they know so well.
Yeah, expect a lot of partisanship. Republicans are going to be trying to get to the bottom of Russian interference in the election, and the Democrats are going to make it all about 2018 and trying to muddy up the election, beat up on Sessions as a proxy war against the Trump administration.
Sorry to cut you off, but lastly, do you think it's true that he offered his resignation?
You know, those are private conversations. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but whoever leaked that private conversation, that person should be fired. This stuff happens in every administration, and that was a private conversation. It was dishonorable for somebody to violate that confidence.
All right, Brian Darling joining us from our nation's capital. Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, 12 minutes now before the top of the hour. Next on our rundown, you've seen the commercials.
His thank you cards have prompted your welcome cards. He is the most interesting man in the world.
Now the most interesting man in the world is telling all. He's live with us now.
That's right, but first let's check in with the second most interesting man in the world, Bill Hammer.
Without the beard. Good morning, fellas. Here we go again, right? What will Jeff Sessions say to clear the air on this Russia matter? Former AG Mike McCasey's live on that. James Lankford, the Senate Intelligence Committee, he is live here as well. There is a hearing in 1 hour with the man who appointed Bob Mueller. We'll be watching that too. Meanwhile, bad news on Obamacare. Details on that today. And the veterans about to get a much-needed boost. We'll talk to the Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy about how they're helping veterans today. So don't move. It's rolling. We'll see you in 12 minutes, top of the hour right here.
It's the story behind Green Mountain Coffee and fair trade. Let's take a flight to Colombia. This is Boris Calvo. Boris grows mind-blowing coffee, and because we pay him a fair price, he improves his farm and invests in his community to make even better coffee, all for a smoother tasting cup. Green Mountain Coffee.
My traditional favorite, Bush's baked beans and burgers. But when I'm feeling bolder, it's Bush's grilling beans with steaks. So do I feel traditional or bold?
Me? I'm feeling bold.
Bush's Beans. We've got a bean for you.
I'd never miss an early morning market. With my back pain, I couldn't sleep or get up in time. Then, I found Aleve PM.
The only one to combine a safe sleep aid plus the 12-hour pain-relieving strength of Aleve.
And now, I'm back.
Aleve PM for a better AM.
Hi. When you clock out, I'll clock in, sensing and automatically adjusting to your every move. There. I can even warm these. Does your bed do that? I'm the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed. Let's meet at a Sleep Number store.
Sessions speaks out. From Russia to Comey, Tucker breaks down every angle of the hearing. Plus, powerful insight from Britt Hume tonight.
Do you have a life insurance policy you no longer need or can't afford? Now you can sell your policy for an immediate payment.
We bought life insurance when our kids were young, to protect their future.
Our young has just turned 40, and we no longer needed the coverage.
That got us to thinking about letting our policy go. So I did some research and called Coventry Direct. I learned that you could sell all or part of a life insurance policy, even a term life policy. Turns out, people have been selling policies like ours for the past 15 years. Who knew? We sold our policy. Now we have money to help with the medical bills.
And to add to our retirement.
If you have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may be a candidate to sell your policy.
Call 1-800-515-4100 or visit CoventryDirect.com for a free information packet. 1-800-515-4100.
Coventry Direct, redefining insurance.
Power is the ability to get a job done fast. Introducing the new Rockwell Sonicrafter F-Series. It's twice as fast as the competition. Push those guys hard, they stop and cry. Push Sonicrafter fast, it asks for more. You'll cut, sand, and grind faster. Plus, Sonicrafter accepts every manufacturer's blades for a truly universal fit. The all-new Sonicrafter F-Series. Yeah, the F stands for fast. The fastest oscillating tool you can buy. Get your Rockwell Sonicrafter F30 or F50 today.
Tomorrow, to survive the future,
Do we save Earth or leave it?
I don't think humanity has a future unless we go into space.
Why don't we just take care of this planet?
This is The Road to Year Million. New episode tomorrow on National Geographic.
I still can't believe we lost. The last time he flirted with danger, danger got clingy. He once received a standing ovation from a juror's box. His thank you cards have prompted your welcome cards. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
You know him as the most interesting man in the world from those Dos Equis commercials, but the true life of actor Jonathan Goldsmith is just as amazing.
Yup, he tells it all in his brand new book, Stay Interesting. It's in stores today.
And joining us right now, Jonathan Goldsmith, the most interesting man in the world.
Everybody has to do something.
Right, absolutely. So you've got an interesting story. I mean, you are a classically trained actor. Back in the olden days, you and Dustin Hoffman were growing up together, and you told that guy he was never going to make it.
Yeah, I talk about eating crow. We were the two youngest fellows in an army show about misfits. They put us on an island in the South Pacific, and we only had one line each, and so each one of us was trying to embellish it, and we were working to get some more stage business, and there was a little friction. So one day, sitting next to him going into before Broadway in Philadelphia, and I jumped up, I said, Dustin, I said, I'm going to make it. You're not. That's why you don't like me.
We saw some black and white pictures. You have racked up over 500 television and movie credits. What are some of the things that you have on your resume?
Oh, so many of the famous shows back in the 80s. I did 16 Gunsmokes, fell off some horses on some other shows, all the Westerns, Bonanza, Virginia, and the Road West. But I think the highlight of my career was a film I starred opposite Burt Lancaster in Go Tell the Spartans.
Oh, that's nothing compared to these Dos Equis ads. I mean, they're going to live on forever. You say when you get the ad, you are channeling a suave Argentinian friend. You channeled the suave Argentinian friend to create an Ernest Hemingway-like character for this Dos Equis ad. What did it mean? Did you know when you got this that you got something special?
No, I didn't. All I knew was my brand new agent said they're looking for somebody, they don't know for sure, but somebody like a Hemingway-esque character. You have to do an improvisation, there's no script, and you have to end with the line, and that's how I arm wrestled Fidel Castro.
Tell us about the audition.
The audition was interesting. I drove down I was living up in the high Sierras, and drove my elderly truck down, and I didn't have much money at the time. I was going through a rough financial period.
Sleeping in your truck, right?
I slept in the truck in the Malibu campground right across from the Malibu colony. And I was wondering, did I still have it? You know, it was 10 years that I was out of the business. And
you nailed it, and you got it.
I was trepidation.
And now when you travel around, what is it like? Do people say,
oh, yeah, I know.
Hey, you're the most interesting man in the world?
Well, I say you have to ask my wife.
Well, you have some interesting stories. I love it. At the front of the book, it says, I don't always tell stories about my life, but when I do, they are true and amazing. So go pick up his book. It's great. It's Jonathan Goldsmith. Stay interesting.
Jonathan, could you do something for us? Could you say, I don't always watch television, but when I do, I watch Fox and Friends?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't always watch television, but when I do, it's Fox and Friends.
Wow. Stay thirsty, my friends.
Bring out the Dos Equis. Come on, Joel.
Now he drinks tequila.
We'll be right back.
So what do you...
Home is where we hit the high notes.
Bring back my Bonnie.
Especially when the hot water goes out. Trust Angie's List to help.
Oh, that's cool.
Visit angieslist.com today.
I'm your Venus. The smoother the skin, the more comfortable you are in it. So find a Venus Smooth that contours to curves, flexes for comfort, and has a disposable made for you. Skin smoothing Venus razors.
Do you tell yourself, today's the day, I'm gonna lose the weight?
but nothing changes. Well, today's the day. Just call Nutrisystem. I'm Brian, and I've lost 75 pounds on Nutrisystem. I'm Chris, and I lost 120 pounds on Nutrisystem. Lose 15 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. Lose weight fast. Money back guarantee.
I got to eat my favorite food. I got to eat, and I got to eat a lot.
Nutrisystem for Men is the real deal, with real food that gets real results. Order your 28-day program right now and get all new Nutri-Crush bars to crush cravings free, and 1 week of turbo shakes to bust that gut free.
Nutrisystem just gave me my life back.
These guys are just like you. They made the call and they got the results. Lose weight, boost energy, improve your health with Nutrisystem for Men. Call or go online in the next 2 minutes and we'll throw in FedEx shipping free. Lose 15 pounds and 7 inches overall in your first month. Make the call now.
Go online or call 877-380-SIZE right now and get Nutrisystem for Men with bars and shakes free.
A lot of Western people don't know much about you. We'd like to know about your background and where you came from. People say Trump is in the Kremlin's pocket. All your aggressive energy comes out in judo. As ex-KGB, you must have hated what Snowden did.
Ничего подобного. Он не предал интересы своей страны.
The Putin Interviews, a 4-night event only on Showtime. Start your free trial now.
Have you heard? Stanley Steamer's been certified asthma and allergy friendly for removing allergens from carpet, tile, and hardwood. Call or go online for our $99 special.
Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
It's okay that everybody ignores me when I drive. It's fine, because I get a safe driving bonus check every 6 months. I'm accident-free. Because I don't use my cell phone when I'm driving, even though my family does and leaves me all alone. Here's something else. I don't share it with Mom. I don't. Right, Mom? I have a brand new putter you don't even know about. It's awesome.
Safe driving bonus checks only from Allstate.
Sometimes I leave the seat up on purpose.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
The Fox News specialists are firing on all cylinders. Eric Bolling puts politicians on notice with Wake Up America. Ebony K. Williams breaks down legal battles impacting you. And Kat Timp hits the streets and talks hot topics with the people. Expect the unexpected all this week on the Fox News specialists.
Well, the president has been busy this morning. He just sent out 2 tweets in the last 12 minutes, and the first one reads this.
Attorney General Lynch made law enforcement decisions for political purposes, gave Hillary Clinton a free pass and protection, totally illegal.
And the other one is fake news at an all-time high. Where's the apology for all the incorrect stories? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah.
And now it's off to Wisconsin.
That's right. So you got to figure he's talking about what has been revealed in Circa this morning, that Attorney General Loretta Lynch apparently had another conversation with James Comey that nobody knew about. We were talking about it today. We'll be talking about it throughout the day on the channel.
That's right. We want to thank 1-800-Flowers for these gorgeous flowers they're providing on our set every day.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right, and if you have to run from the television, run to the radio. Huge show coming your way for the next 3 hours.
We're going to put our running shoes on. We'll meet you up there.
Good morning, everybody. Fox News Alert now, and a jam-packed morning unfolding on Capitol Hill. Today is the sequel to last week's dramatic James Comey testimony. Today, top Justice Department officials are in the hot seat on 2 important hearings, and we're going to take you through that and figure out what we need to know, what's important and what is not. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bill Hammer, live here in America's Newsroom. Here we go, Shannon, again.
Yes.
How are you?
There is a lot of information for us to sift through, but we're going to do it as you said. I'm Shannon Bream, just an hour from now. The man heading up the Russia investigation, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, faces a Senate committee. Hours later, his boss, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, testifies in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee, both expected to face sharp questions on the Russia investigation and the firing of former FBI Director James Comey.
So we have Team Fox coverage this morning. John Roberts live at the White House. Senate Intelligence Committee member James Langford is here live in a moment. But first, Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge begins our coverage back in that hearing room on Capitol Hill. And Catherine, what will happen today?
Well, thank you, Bill, and good morning. Our expectation is that the Attorney General Jeff Sessions will address at least 2 key issues that were raised during last week's testimony from the fired FBI Director James Comey. The first takes us back to mid-February of this year and this discussion between Comey and President Trump about former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn. You'll recall that based on that meeting, Comey testified that the president told him he hoped he would let go of the Flynn investigation. Mr. Trump has disputed the characterization of Comey's testimony, but in any event, Comey said that he did not take the matter to his boss, the Attorney General, because Comey had either evidence or intelligence that told him that soon the Attorney General would take himself out of the Russia investigation over his contacts with the Russians.
When it comes to the president, I took it as a direction to get rid of this investigation because we're not going to follow that request. And so we decided we got to keep it away from our troops. But is there anybody else we ought to tell at the Justice Department? And as I laid out in my statement, we considered whether to tell the Attorney General, decided that didn't make sense because we believed, rightly, that he was shortly going to recuse.
We can expect lawmakers to press the Attorney General on the number of contacts he had with the Russians and whether it goes beyond the 2 he has already declared in the summer of last year, as well as September. The second key issue is what role the Attorney General played in the firing of FBI Director James Comey. So Sessions had taken himself out of the Russia case. The president indicated that the firing, or Comey indicated he believed he was fired over the Russia case. So what role exactly did Sessions play in that event?
I think it's a reasonable question. If, as the president said, I was fired because of the Russia investigation, why was the Attorney General involved in that chain? I don't know. And so I don't have an answer for the question.
Sessions supporters say that he will be testifying publicly today as a way to set the record straight after Comey's testimony last week. In just about an hour from now, we will hear from the Deputy Attorney General. This would typically be a routine funding hearing on Capitol Hill, but we do expect the questions to turn to Russia bill.
Nothing's routine, right?
That's correct.
Rosenstein and especially Sessions have an opportunity here to set the record straight. So we're waiting on all that. Thanks, Catherine Harris there on Capitol Hill. Shannon.
All right, let's bring in one of the lawmakers who's going to ask those questions today on the Hill, Senator James Lankford, Senate Intelligence Committee member. And, sir, thank you for your time today. I want to make sure to save plenty of time for a religious freedom issue that is critical, that's getting lost in some of these headlines. But to the headlines first, what will be your question? What is your key inquiry you have for Senator Jeff Sessions, former senator, now AG?
Sure, yeah. Now, Attorney General, there's really three issues that have come up. One is that did he have any conversations with Russians? The accusation has been there that at that time, Senator Sessions, anytime he met with, was in a room with, passed by a Russian leader or the Russian ambassador, that should be brought up for a questioning. Quite frankly, that's a little absurd to say if there was any conversation, any passing. Was there any planning or collusion? Obviously, that's a legitimate issue. Was there any just passing conversations? Senators have passing conversations with people all the time. What was his role in the firing of James Comey? Was there any Russia connection to that directly is an obvious question. And the departure of James Comey, of anything that happened during that time period as well. All of those are pertinent questions to be able to get the full facts out. And I'm glad Jeff is coming to be able to lay some of those things out. Because quite frankly, the Attorney General was around some of those things. He can clear the whole thing up by getting a chance to lay out those conversations.
What about the representations that the former FBI director made last week, that he actually expressed concern saying, don't leave me alone with the president, those kinds of things? Will you probe those conversations as well?
That should be probed. Quite frankly, when that came out, I thought that was an odd statement for Jim Comey to make because it leaves the impression that Sessions was trying to. Sessions was in the room waiting with Comey when the president said he wanted Comey to stay. So Sessions did exactly what he should have done as his boss. Remain as well, and the president asked everyone else to leave but Comey. That's not a position that Jeff Sessions can say to the president, no, I'm going to stay. And so I understand that. I'm waiting to be able to see what Jeff Sessions comes back to that. But Jeff is not going to be able to say to Comey, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to leave you alone with the president. If the president says he wants to meet alone with somebody, you're going to allow the president to be able to meet with someone alone. So that's not the issue. And this whole conversation about this was Russia related, it seemed fairly apparent from Comey's testimony last week that the president asked him 3 times to say publicly what he said privately, and Comey refused to say, you're not under investigation publicly. He would only say it privately to the president. And then at some point, apparently the president said, I'm going to move on. Now, that's not really Russia related in the sense that he's trying to quash the investigation, but it seemed to be a frustration of the president that Comey will say one thing privately and another thing not say publicly. So we'll allow this all to come out.
All right, I want to turn to a hearing last week that didn't get much attention because of all the other big headlines that we have. This involves Senator Sanders questioning somebody who is a nominee for Deputy Director of the Office of Management and Budget, really pushing him on his Christian faith and what that means to his ability to serve in a government position. Here's a bit of their interchange.
Are you suggesting that all of those people stand condemned? What about Jews? They stand condemned too.
Senator, I'm a Christian.
I understand you are a Christian, but this country is made up of people who are not just. I understand that Christianity is the majority religion, but there are other people who have different religions in this country and around the world.
And Senator Senator Sanders there said this is not the kind of guy that we want serving in our government. What did you make of that dust-up?
Yeah, that was a pretty chilling statement from Senator Sanders to say basically this person's not qualified to be able to serve in government. Article 6 of the Constitution says there's no religious test and there's no qualification for any officer or any person serving in the public trust. That can't be required to say, I want to know more about your religion before you get into this public setting. The person that he was actually interviewing is being nominated is for an accounting role within the Office of Management and Budget and an economic role. But basically, Senator Sanders was saying, I know you're applying for some of the economics, but because you're a Christian, that you can't also then serve in government. The teachings of it that he was trying to say, and all he was trying to quote was John 3:18. So the implication is you can be a Christian and serve in government as long as you don't believe in the teachings of Jesus. And those two things are inconsistent.
Quickly, should he apologize or resign?
No, Sanders should not. He should apologize, but he shouldn't resign. Again, that would be putting a religious test the other direction to say that you're opposed to a certain religion. He should apologize to him, and he should just make a clear statement. I'm not trying to put a religious test on people. People can believe what they want to believe in their faith. That doesn't preclude them from also serving in government.
All right, Senator Langford will be watching the hearings this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time.
Great, thank you.
Amid all the hearings, certainly the White House now firing back against a report that President Trump was considering firing Special Counsel Robert Mueller. What about that this morning? Chief White House correspondent John Roberts running that down on the North Lawn now. John, what you find out? Good morning.
What about all of that? Good morning to you, Bill. You might have read a lot of stories this morning about the president considering firing the special counsel Robert Mueller because he doesn't like what's going on. It is the lead story of today's New York Times. It is the front page of the LA Times. There is outrage from Democrats. Congressman Adam Schiff saying if the president were to fire Mueller, then Congress would immediately resurrect the Independent Counsel Act and reappoint Mueller. It all seems very horrible this morning, except for the fact, and it's a very sticky fact, that it's apparently not true. All of this reporting and all of this outrage was based on a statement that a friend of the president's, Chris Ruddy, the CEO of Newsmax, made on PBS last night. Listen here.
I think he's considering perhaps terminating the special counsel. I think he's weighing that option. I think it's pretty clear by what one of his lawyers said on television recently.
Now, a lot of people thought that because Chris Ruddy is a friend of the president's, he was speaking to the president about it and he had inside information. But sources close to Trump's legal team tell me that Ruddy's statement was based on watching Jay Sekulow from the American Council for Law and Justice on ABC's program This Week on Sunday, in which Sekulow never said any such thing. Listen to this exchange here.
And finally, will the president promise not to interfere, not attempt at any time to order the Deputy Attorney General to fire Robert Mueller?
Look, the president of the United States, as we all know, it's a unitary executive. But the president is going to seek the advice of his counsel, and inside the government as well as outside. And I'm not going to speculate on what he will or will not do. But right now, the role of the president is to govern the United States of America. He's going to do that. He's going to leave anything else to the lawyers. But I can't imagine that issue is going to arise.
Sekulow did go on to say that it's something the president might consider talking with his attorneys about, quote, if there was a basis. But it's a huge leap from that to he's considering firing Robert Mueller. So we'll see where the news coverage goes from here. Certainly the president would like an apology for all of the coverage surrounding this, tweeting out just a short time ago, quote, fake news is at an all-time high, where is their apology to me for all of the incorrect stories? And the president firing a preemptive strike against Jeff Sessions' testimony this afternoon, reminding people in a tweet, quote, Attorney General Lynch made law enforcement decisions for political purposes, gave Hillary Clinton a free pass and protection, totally illegal. The president will be winging his way to Waukesha, Wisconsin, at the same time as Attorney General is testifying before the Senate Intelligence Committee. I imagine, though, Bill, he'll likely watch a little bit of that on Air Force One.
We will see that. Thank you, John. A lot going on there. And thank you, John Roberts from the White House. Shannon, what's coming up here?
We will have more on all of these developing stories throughout this hour. Still ahead, former Attorney General Michael Mukasey, Judge Andrew Napolitano, and Senator Rand Paul. And later this afternoon, please join us for a special edition of America's Newsroom for live coverage of the Jeff Sessions hearing. The Attorney General there taking the podium, and we will start and kick that off at 2 p.m. today.
Nothing going on. That's not the only matter today. President Trump focusing on repealing Obamacare and calling out Democrats in the process when he said this.
We will have zero backing from the Democrats, even though they should get in and do something, but we expect to get zero.
So are we getting closer to getting a bill passed in the Senate? House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy is live on that a moment away here.
And former NBA star Dennis Rodman heading back to North Korea again. The motives behind the trip?
Back to our top story, too. AG Jeff Sessions before the committee today. Yesterday, Judge Napolitano said on our program that he had some big concerns about that happening. So how does he feel about this today?
This is a very dangerous position for him to be in. He is not testifying as the chief law enforcement officer in the land, as the Attorney General. He's testifying as a witness because he doesn't run the Russia investigations.
Excuse me, are you Johnny Bench?
Yes.
Would you mind signing this?
Sure.
And this.
Okay.
And this. And this. And this.
After a long day of signing autographs, Johnny Bench relies on Blue Emu products. Stay legendary. It works fast, and you won't stink.
We needed to hire someone, but it was really tough finding people that had the right experience.
I was spending half my day just reading resumes.
To hire great people, go to ZipRecruiter.com and post to over 100 of the web's leading job boards with one click. Then, easily select the best candidates from one list.
I'm seeing a lot more candidates with the right experience.
We have gotten consistently better results from ZipRecruiter than anywhere else.
Over 1 million businesses have already used ZipRecruiter. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/box.
Meeting people is my life. I had to be careful how wide I would open my mouth because I was embarrassed to show my teeth. It was time to do something for myself that was going to be permanent.
The Clear Choice one-day approach is making dental implants a reality for people all over the country who suffer from missing or failing teeth.
I felt like I was the most important person on earth to them.
Bill came in, bad teeth, discomfort, pain. We needed to get him into a smile that he felt confident in. We have expertise that he might not find anywhere else, all in one location.
The next day, I had a new smile. Couldn't wait to show some folks. It's amazing what a smile can do for a person.
Discover why this is so much more than another dental procedure. It's a true life changer. With over 30,000 new smiles and counting, we're lifting spirits and confidence all over America. Schedule your free consultation today. We'll even talk about financing options.
I'm eating corn on the cob. I had the best smile I'd ever had in my life.
Call Clear Choice today.
I don't know why I didn't get screened a long time ago. I kept putting it off. What was I thinking?
Okay, Mr. Jones, we're all done.
I told you it was easy.
With Lifeline Screening, getting screened for unknown health conditions is so quick, painless, and affordable. You'll wonder why you hadn't done it before. So if you're over age 50, call now and schedule an appointment near you. For just $149, a savings of over 50%, you'll receive a package of 5 screenings that go beyond your doctor's annual checkup. Ultrasound technology looks inside your arteries for plaque that builds up as you age and increases your risk of stroke and heart disease. After all, 4 out of 5 people who have a stroke, their first symptom is a stroke. So call today and start with a free health assessment to understand your best plan of action.
So why didn't we do this earlier?
Lifeline Screening. The power of prevention. Call now to learn more.
You're searching heaps of websites looking for the best hotel deal. Stop doing that to yourself. Let Trivago do it for you. Trivago compares prices from hundreds of websites and apps at the same time. It's that simple. Hotel? Trivago.
You don't let anything keep you sidelined. That's why you drink Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. For the strength and energy to get back to doing what you love. Ensure. Always be you.
It depends on the scope of the questions, and it would be to get into a hypothetical at this point would be premature.
Press Secretary Sean Spicer responding to a question about whether or not President Trump will invoke an executive privilege to curtail the AG Jeff Sessions testimony. Based on everything we know, that's not going to happen. The hearing will go forward. Judge Mike McCasey, former Attorney General, and President George W. Bush with me in studio, and been waiting for a while to talk to you. So thank you for your time today on what is a very important day. Just analyze this from Jeff Sessions' position. What is the opportunity for him today?
I think the opportunity for him is to clear up a couple of misconceptions and distortions, if you will, about what he's said and done in the past. Starting with the number of times that he had encounters with the Soviet ambassador, with the Russian ambassador, excuse me. He was asked during his confirmation hearing in a question that mentioned people acting as surrogates who had contact with the Russian ambassador, whether he had had a contact with the Russian ambassador. That was the context of the question. There was no reason for him at that point to recall this other meeting that he had in his office that was set up, by the way, by the Obama State Department. It was one of about 20 or 30 meetings that they arranged with foreign diplomats, including the Russian ambassador, including many others.
Among the incoming administration. May I pause you there for a moment? Because at this confirmation hearing, January 10th, right? You were there. Yes. This is how the answer came out after the question.
I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians.
What is the distinction in that answer? I was a surrogate for the campaign.
That refers to the question, the way Senator Franken asked it. He asked about people who acted as surrogates for the president having contact with the Russians. And so he said, well, I was called a surrogate, but I didn't have contact with the Russians. There was no reason for him at that point to have remembered a conversation that he had when he was in his office that had been set up by the Obama State Department, that they set up because he was a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee.
2 meetings, correct, with this Russian ambassador?
As far as I know, meetings in the sense of sitting down and having a substantive conversation. As far as I know, 1. In his office, right. He had other encounters with the Russian ambassador where they run into each other at a speech. The guy comes over to him and says, hello, you call that a meeting? I don't.
What's the downside to his appearance today?
The downside to his appearance is people trying to push him into a situation where he has to invoke executive privilege so that he looks like he's hiding something, I guess. I don't know of any other downside. I certainly don't know of any downside from the standpoint of asking him what he did. I know he's based on conversations with people who've spoken to him, I know he is eager to testify. I know he's eager to clear up some misconceptions. Another one, by the way, has to do with why he recused himself. He didn't recuse himself over the Russia investigation. He recused himself because there is a section of the administrative code that speaks about people who work on campaigns should not be involved later in decisions about whether people acted properly in those campaigns or not. He did work on the Trump campaign.
So you're saying he can explain that away?
Correct.
Did he want to testify today, or did his boss, President Trump, want him there today?
I don't know what President Trump wants or doesn't want. I know, based on a conversation with somebody who spoke to him about it, that he definitely wanted to testify.
And
wanted to testify in open session.
You are a professional colleague of his.
Yes.
You've had contact with him.
Right.
What is the crime here?
The crime where? Seriously, I don't see evidence of any crime having been committed by anybody in relation to this investigation. The only crime was committed by the Russians when they hacked into the Democrats' emails and disclosed them. That was the crime, and that was complete when the Russians did it.
Was there obstruction that you have found?
Based on what I've seen, no. there's no obstruction of any investigation.
Is there
or attempt.
collusion in this case?
No, there was. As far as I can tell, nobody's found any evidence of collusion, and if there were, it wouldn't be a crime.
If that is the case on those three questions with your answers, where is this going?
You'd have to ask the senators who are doing it, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere productive.
Thank you for your time. We're waiting 40 minutes away from the next hearing. Thank you, sir. Mike McCasey, former AG.
And we're getting word of a deadly attack at a Georgia prison. Officials say inmates killed 2 guards and then escaped. It happened during a bus transport this morning. We are following the very latest developments. That manhunt is now underway. And the Russia investigation pushing much of President Trump's agenda to the back seat. But one of his main priorities, repealing and replacing Obamacare, still front and center for many lawmakers. The House passed its version. The White House still waiting for the Senate to act.
I'm worried that the outline has a lot of Obamacare in it. If it's Obamacare light, that'll be difficult for me.
Performance. It's in every acceleration. It's in every corner. It's in every drive. This is the Jaguar F-Pace, our first performance SUV. For great offers, visit your local Jaguar retailer today.
Oh, I'm not a security guard. I'm a security monitor. I only notify people if there's a robbery. There's a robbery.
Why monitor a problem if you don't fix it? That's why free credit monitoring isn't enough to protect you from identity theft. At LifeLock, we not only alert you to identity threats. If you have a problem, we'll spend up to $1 million on lawyers and experts who will work to fix it. LifeLock. Join starting at $9.99 a month.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend a Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. Thankfully, there's Home Advisor. Home Advisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. They have verified reviews of the pros, and they do background checks, so you know you can trust them with your home. You can compare prices, book appointments, and what my wife loves most is that Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
That's right, keep rocking. SiriusXM's free listening event might be over, but you can turn us back on with packages starting for a limited time at just $5.99 a month plus fees. Just visit SiriusXM.com/GetSXM to keep hearing all the things that make you love taking the long way home. So visit SiriusXM.com/GetSXM or call 1-844-479-6669 to turn us back on and up.
The Jeff Sessions hearing. As questions surround the Attorney General, what will he reveal and how will it impact the White House? Full coverage starts today at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel.
Looking for a safer way to burn yard waste? Stop. Don't burn in a rusty barrel like this. Burn the safe way with the Burn Cage. It doesn't just burn, it incinerates, leaving nothing behind but fine ash. And when you're done, the Burn Cage folds up neatly for storage.
For a free information kit about the Burn Cage, call 1-800-731-6693. That's 1-800-731-6693. Online at burncage.com.
Where are we? About to see Progressive's new Home Quote Explorer, where you can compare multiple quote options online and choose what's right for you. Whoa. Flo and Jamie here to see HQX. Flo and Jamie, request entry. Slovakia, Triceratops, Tapioca, Racquetball, Staccato,
Viomo Jaime,
Pumpernickel, Pudding.
Hey guys.
Home Quote Explorer. It's home insurance made easy.
That's what it is. Hey guys.
Fox News Alert now, 25 past. There's a new report that shows Obamacare enrollment is declining. It shows 2 million more Americans have dropped out. And now the House, you remember, passed a version of a new bill about 5 weeks ago. The action now is in the Senate. Earlier today, I talked to Republican Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy about all this. Kevin McCarthy, thank you for your time. Good morning.
Well, thanks for having me on today.
We've got a lot to get to here, but on this Russia matter, what is that doing to the progress in the House?
Well, in the House, if you look at what's gone on, we passed 158 bills. That's the most bills of any first new president coming in since H.W. Bush, even larger than his. And signed into law 37 bills. So yes, there is distraction, but it's not if you take the merits of what's happened here in the House and the number of bills signed. This is the most, all the way back to H.W. Bush.
So you're saying it's not getting in the way.
It's not getting in the way, but some things are happening. If you watched last week while we were passing the Choice Act that actually helps more capital, creates more jobs, community banks. At the same time, they're covering the Comey hearing, and no one's talking about what's happening here in the House. Today, we're going to pass the VA accountability bill. How many people are going to watch that? Actually change the VA. We have a lot of great employees over at the VA caring for our veterans, but we also have some bad ones.
Yeah, let me.
And we're not able to get rid of them.
It's a very important topic. It's the reason you came on today. Let me get to that in a moment here, but I want to play this for our viewers from yesterday. During this, I guess you call it a board meeting, cabinet meeting, where the president said this about your colleagues on the Democratic side.
If we had the greatest bill in the history of the world on health care, we wouldn't get one vote from the Democrats because they're obstructionists. That's what they want to do. That's the game. They think that's their best political game.
And that's been the message in the White House for a week now. Are they obstructionists?
Well, it's not just for a week. Remember, this president, it was the longest time ever to get a cabinet since George Washington. No president has ever had to wait this long. In the Senate, where the Democrats actually run this clock out, they even resisted back in May to having committee hearings in the afternoon. So they are using every stall tactic possible to try to make this president not successful.
But I remind you, you have the majority.
We do have the majority, and if you look in the House, we passed more bills than any other time. Going forward, more than 158. He has signed more, twice as many as President Obama in the first 100 days, more so than Bush, more so than Clinton, more so than H.W. Bush. So we have had some success, but in the Senate there are different rules. And unfortunately, those stall tactics, because the Senate has to make confirmations, and there's 1,200 positions that have to be confirmed with a new administration. And what Schumer is doing is stalling it out. What did Schumer do yesterday? He took the time to take his staff and try to mock the president for having a cabinet hearing. Is that really the best use of the minority leader over there? Or can he be working to make sure what we continue to hear of the millions of Americans who are now not going to have health care because the exchanges have collapsed? 94 out of 99 counties in Iowa will not have health care. We just got a new CMS study that shows, 2 million people who signed up for Obamacare are not paying in. Why? Because the premiums have come too high. That's 19 million people have taken the penalty or the waiver, and only 10 million have signed up to Obamacare. This is collapsing upon itself. I think it's time to work together to find common ground and actually have a solution for America.
It's significant what's happening in the Senate. You mentioned the VA. This is very important. You'll put a reform bill before today. What will that do for the veterans who need that help?
Well, this is so critical. This is a bill that we passed in 2015. We passed last Congress. Finally, we got it through the Senate to come back to us. If you look at the history, there are great employees over the VA, but there are some bad apples that harm the entire system. An individual had to go to jail, but was able to take time off and come back to work. An individual was found drunk and actually performed surgery. A psychiatrist was actually working with a veteran but watching inappropriate videos as he was performing the work that he was supposed to do. But none of those individuals could be fired. None of those individuals would survive anywhere in the private sector or anywhere else. This will empower the VA secretary to get rid of the bad apples so the good employees could actually rise to the occasion and make sure we care for our VAs, make sure we care for our veterans. It will also protect whistleblowers so they can actually bring forward those places that are not doing well inside the VA, and we can solve this problem once and for all.
Will the president sign that bill?
The president is tweeting, waiting for this bill to get to him.
Okay.
And so we will move it off the floor of the House today. And you know what? We'll set another record for more bills being signed by a president in this time frame since H.W. Bush.
It's important stuff. Thank you for your time. Kevin McCarthy from earlier. Right now, there is breaking news from the Associated Press by way of Rex Tillerson, the Secretary of State. He is now saying that the North Koreans have released auto warm beer from jail in North Korea. Wow, if that is the case, this young man has been saved 15 years hard labor in North Korea. He's from the University of Virginia. He grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the community of Wyoming. His family has been caught between going public and staying private, worried day after day and hour after hour about their son's fate. But according to the Associated Press, North Korea has released the jailed American student auto warm beer, according to the Secretary of State. Boy, let's hope and pray that is the case. Dennis Rodman is in North Korea as we speak. Was there a connection? There could have been, but we're waiting more details on this. It's just crossing the wires right now, so we're trying to reach out to the family and get in touch with them.
Yeah,
wow.
We know that Secretary Tillerson is right now in the middle of some remarks that he's giving with another Saudi Arabian leader, and so apparently that's where this comes from. We'll track it down. All right, as we await the Jeff Sessions hearing later today, the Attorney General facing a dizzying array of questions about his role in the campaign, Russia, and much more.
Did you know that silver is considered one of the world's most useful commodities, second only to oil? You can't buy an oil field, but you can buy silver, the world's miracle metal. With endless uses in green energy, electronics, and medicine, discover why the experts say silver is the new oil.
Silver is actually my favorite investment, particularly at this price. I think silver is going to $200 an ounce. I love silver.
Call Lear Capital at 1-800-885-6000 to get this special report, Vanishing Silver, and free Experts DVD. Discover why Rich Dad Poor Dad's best-selling author Robert Kiyosaki loves silver, and why these experts see silver as a win-win investment. The first 50 callers also get our Precious Metals IRA Transfer Guide and up to $600 in free gold or silver. This offer ends soon. Call 1-800-885-6000. 1-800-885-6000. That's 1-800-885-6000. Call now.
Listen up, heart disease. You too, unnecessary ER visits. And hey, unmanaged depression. Don't get too comfortable. We're talking to you, cost inefficiencies and data without insights. And fragmented care. Stop getting in the way of patient recovery. And pay attention. Every single one of you is on our list. For those who won't rest until the world is healthier, neither will we. Optum, how well gets done.
Money is like life. You have to decide how to spend it. And just like life, every decision affects every other decision. The trick is keeping track of what's going on. So we made you some simple, free tools to help you see all of your money and investments in one place. So you can make smart choices about how to spend your money and your life. Personal Capital. Get to know your money.
I was always the girl with psoriasis. People don't stare anymore.
I never joined in. That wasn't fair to any of us.
I was covered. I tried lots of things over the years.
But I didn't give up.
I kept on fighting.
I found something that worked.
That still works.
Now, see me.
See me.
I found clear skin that lasts.
See if Cosentix could make a difference for you. Cosentix is proven to help people with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis find clear skin that can last. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting Cosentix, you should be checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you've received a vaccine or plan to. If you have inflammatory bowel disease, tell your doctor if symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
See me to know.
Clear skin can last.
Don't hold back. Ask your dermatologist if Cosentix can help you find clear skin that lasts.
9:35, Washington, D.C. The AG, Jeff Sessions, is not the only one on the hot seat today. We are monitoring numerous hearings. Defense Secretary Mattis, Joint Chiefs Chairman Dunford, they'll testify before the Senate Armed Services Committee. Next hour, Secretary of State Tillerson appears before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Both hearings expected to cover President Trump's budget, but we're also likely to get a number of questions about this Russia matter and the firing of the former FBI Director James Comey. So stand by. We're on all of that for you today on America's News.
A very busy day in Washington over on Capitol Hill. We are awaiting that Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein hearing. He's going to sit down with the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee. It's supposed to be about funding, but we're guessing it's going to go into a lot of other territory. His boss, Jeff Sessions, testifies to the Senate Intelligence Committee later this afternoon in an open hearing, and there's no denying the hot water we'll be wading into. He's going to be wading into it. Let's bring in Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Good to see you, Judge.
Morning, Shannon.
All right, you said yesterday this was a dangerous position for him to be in, testifying under oath and in open setting now. How do you feel today?
I feel the same way today because he is not testifying as the person in charge of these criminal investigations and intelligence investigations. He's testifying as a witness, and he has three issues to concern himself with: the President of the United States, who appointed him; the Justice Department, which he still heads, even though he's not responsible for these investigations; and himself, because the Democrats are going to come out very hard and very strong and accuse him of perjury because of the, what I think was honest misunderstanding of the nature of a question about his relationship with Ambassador Kislyak, which in my view was harmless and routine. Nevertheless, the answer he gave about how many times he met or was acquainted with or came across Ambassador Kislyak, he gave the answer under oath, and it's inconsistent with the factual record. So right off the bat, his back's going to be to the wall. What does he do when there's a conflict in his brain about how do I answer this question? It could help me, it could hurt the Justice Department, it could help the Justice Department and hurt the President. This is why I've advised that it's a tricky situation for him. He's a very bright lawyer. He's a former senator. He knows how these things go, but it's fraught with danger.
Okay, so the White House yesterday kind of demurred on the issue of executive privilege, of whether or not he would try to claim that. They said it depends on the questions and where they go. Nearly every administration, dating back to George Washington, has used some form of this idea of executive privilege. It wouldn't be unusual.
All right, executive privilege is the ability of the President of the United States, directly or through people with whom he interacts, to refrain from revealing communications involving military, diplomatic, or sensitive national security matters. It would be very odd, Shannon, for the Attorney General, who asked for an open public hearing, to decline to answer some questions on the basis of executive privilege. I don't expect that to happen. If it does, I think it's going to be damaging for him or for the President, because the perception will be, this may not be the reality, but the perception will be that he or the President have something to hide after they asked for a public hearing.
You know, our colleague, Greg Jarrett, also an attorney, we're going to start a firm. But anyway, it would be, based out of Fox. He has written some excellent pieces in recent weeks, pointing out a lot of the, technicalities of what's going on here. He has a piece out that talks about the conflict of interest, potentially, that Special Counsel Mueller has now with respect to Comey, their close relationship. He really details that and says, essentially, there's no way he can be objective, and really, if he was going to do the right thing, he should recuse himself. What do you think?
I view it differently. From my own experience with law enforcement, prosecutors are not neutral. Prosecutors believe that their targets are guilty and their job is to amass evidence against them. And prosecutors also become friends with the police or the FBI agents who investigate their cases and then testify as witnesses. Judges have to remain neutral and in an ivory tower and should not be evaluating the credibility of evidence that comes out of the mouth of a close friend. Prosecutors, it's a different story.
But what if he stumbled upon something that he thought, as many people are arguing, the leak of this memo could be wrongdoing on the part of former FBI Director James Comey? What would the special counsel do with that?
I don't know what he would do with it, but he would be duty-bound to bring it to Rod Rosenstein, who's the number 2 person in the Justice Department and his boss on these issues. He may very well be duty-bound to investigate James Comey, who right now appears to be one of his witnesses, maybe his star witness. But if the witness has defects, as a lot of witnesses do, and the government prosecutors learn that, they have to do something with it. They either have to reveal it, investigate it, or get off the case.
All right, nearly every witness, I think we know, has some kind of flaw that you got to deal with in this process. All right, Judge, good to see you.
We'll be watching this thing this afternoon.
Kicks off special coverage 2 o'clock.
Unless Dennis Rodman intercedes.
We got a little more on that right now. The Associated Press breaking this news 10 minutes ago. This young man on screen, Otto Warmbier, has apparently been released from a prison in North Korea, according to the AP. Rex Tillerson, in prepared remarks that we should get in, about 20 minutes from now, That's our guest as he testifies on Capitol Hill. Secretary Tillerson says that Warmbier is on his way back to the United States, said to be reunited with his family. In that statement, he says the State Department secured his release after the election of President Donald Trump. Tillerson, as the State Department continues talking about 3 other detained Americans with North Korea. It also comes again as the former NBA player Dennis Rodman is paying a visit to North Korea. He's been there before. Warmbier, University of Virginia student, grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, in the community of Wyoming. You might remember that tearful confession and apology that he gave on camera shortly before he was led away to the prison camp. The rumor was that Warmbier was picked up at the airport while leaving Pyongyang with reports of a stolen state poster in his suitcase. The other report from the family is that he merely touched a poster on the wall in his hotel room. Whatever the truth might be, according to Secretary Tillerson, Otto Warmbier is yet again a free man. And what a great day that is. Stand by. More when we get it right here. Shannon.
Amazing. All right, we are waiting to start several hearings. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein first up, then Attorney General Jeff Sessions. They're going to have to answer questions about the Russia probe and the firing of James Comey. Senator Rand Paul on those topics and much more next.
This is just investigations for its own sake and to produce a lot of smoke. The president has contributed, you're right, with the tweets, but so far, up until now, and I'm open to evidence, it's all smoke.
Tried hard to quit smoking. But when we brought our daughter home, that was it. Now I have Nicoderm CQ.
The Nicoderm CQ patch with unique extended release technology helps prevent your urge to smoke all day.
It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Every great wine needs a great home.
With the Home Advisor app, it's easy and free to find home pros for any project. From a simple repair to a major remodel. Tell them what you need and get connected to top-rated local pros. Start your next project with Home Advisor.
Duncan just protected his family with a $500,000 life insurance policy. How much do you think it cost him? $100 a month? $75? $50? Actually, Duncan got his $500,000 for under $27 a month. Less than $1 a day. His secret? SelectQuote. In just minutes, a SelectQuote agent will comparison shop nearly a dozen highly rated life insurance companies and give you a choice of your 5 best rates. Duncan's wife, Cassie, got a $750,000 policy for $19 a month. Give your family the security it needs at a price you can afford. Since 1985, SelectQuote has saved over 1 million families millions of dollars on life insurance. Call now, 800-772-8300, or go to SelectQuote.com. Discover what over 1 million families know now. We shop, you save.
I'm Chris, and I lost 120 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Listen up, guys. Want to shed a few pounds? Got a beer belly going on? Can't fit into your pants? Then you need Nutrisystem for men.
I'm Essex, and I lost 43 pounds on Nutrisystem.
I'm Trevor, and I lost 60 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Lose 15 pounds and 7 inches in your first month. Lose weight fast. Money back guarantee. Real guys, real results.
I'm Michael, and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Put down the pie, pick up the phone, and get with the program today. Get 1 week of all new Nutri-Crush bars free and 1 week of Turbo Shakes free.
The food was delicious.
If you're like me and you like to eat, this is what you get to do.
This is perfect for men, especially guys who don't want to cook.
So get off the couch, call or go online in the next 2 minutes, and we'll even throw in FedEx shipping. Free! Lose 15 pounds and 7 inches in your first month.
It's not that hard. You eat the food, you lose the weight.
Go online or call 888-605-SIZE to get Nutrisystem for Men with bars and shakes free.
Everything your family touches sticks with them. Make sure the germs they bring home don't stick around. Use Clorox disinfecting products, because no one kills germs better than Clorox.
To err is human. To anticipate is Lexus. Experience the Lexus RX with advanced safety. Standard. Experience amazing.
All I can say, Senator, is it's
The special counsel's investigation is very important. Understanding what efforts there were or are by the Russian government to influence our government is a critical part of the FBI's mission. So, and you've got the right person in Bob Mueller to lead it.
So here we go again. Former FBI Director James Comey from some of his testimony last week. I want to bring in Senator Rand Paul out of Kentucky, member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and sir, good day to you. We've got 3 topics to get to. Let's start with Russia. I've got 2 essential questions that apparently are coming from Democrats. What contacts with Russia before the election? What role, if any, did he have in firing James Comey? Clear it up. From your perspective, what's important now?
Well, you know, I think that it was time for Comey to go. I don't think there's been any FBI director who ever politicized the department more than he did. Every Democrat in the land thought he went too far in being vocal about what Clinton did. Every Republican in the land thought if all the things he said about her were true, why didn't he indict her? So he really made nobody happy. But your FBI agents shouldn't be having press conferences all the time. They shouldn't be talking about politics, and they shouldn't be so visible in the middle of a presidential election. So I think he made a lot of mistakes, and it was time for him to move on. With regard to whether the president can do it, absolutely. The president has the absolute authority. You work for the president at his will. The president can fire you for any reason. And I think even Comey's testimony kind of vindicated the president, because Comey said, look, he told me he hoped I would end the investigation. That doesn't really sound like strong-arming to me, to say you hope that he'll be done and finish his job. If there is no investigation of the president, tell the people. So that's the most important part of this that came out for me, is that Comey confirmed that there was no, and as far as he knows, there is no investigation of the president.
And Jeff Sessions has a chance to defend him. We haven't heard from him yet, and that's a big part of the story. I think we can all concede that. So that comes up later today. Topic number 2, Obamacare on screen. Here's the map. Individual market premiums. You can see the various states. Utah's up 101. Wyoming's up 107. South Dakota 124. Arkansas 120. Tennessee 176. I mean, it's just extraordinary.
It's out of control.
I know you want full repeal. Will you accept anything less than that?
The main thing is that you will not get prices to go down if you keep the Obamacare regulations. The regulations add to the price, and the regulations are what caused the adverse or the death spiral of Obamacare. The Republican plan from the House doesn't fix the death spiral, just subsidizes it, throws a whole bunch of federal taxpayer money in there. But what they don't really explain to is there is no federal money up here. We're $500 billion in the hole every year. We have a $20 trillion debt. Where does all this money come from to stabilize insurance? And I frankly don't want to give any money to insurance companies. They make $15 billion a year. Why would the taxpayer give them a penny? So I'm not for that, and I hope the Senate plan will be different.
Yeah, this is very important stuff, but without getting too far in the details, do you think, given the composition of the Senate today, knowing Republicans have a 2-vote majority, can you get it passed or not today?
My current impression is they've taken the House bill, and it's probably going to include more subsidies, probably going to include more federal money and more federal involvement in health care. That's the wrong direction, and that will lose me. But I'm still in the mix. I'm still open to voting for something, but it's got to get better, not worse. The House bill would have to improve, not get worse.
Sounds like you have a big meeting with Mitch McConnell coming up. We will stand by for that. The reason you came on today is you're opposed to the $350 billion arms sale to Saudi Arabia. Why?
Number one, the Saudis have been funding terrorism. Hillary Clinton, in one of her emails to John Podesta, said, we've got to put pressure on the Saudis because they're supplying financial and logistical help to ISIS. This is the Secretary of State saying this, that Saudis were funding ISIS, we're going to give them weapons. The other more immediate cause now is the Saudis are bombing the heck out of Yemen, the country to the south of them. 17 million people are on the verge of starvation in Yemen. Saudis have blockaded the ports. Yemen gets 90% of its food from outside the country. It is really a terrible idea for the United States to get involved in another war, and it's really terrible for us to be allied with someone that's getting ready to, there's an impending famine in Yemen, and I can't be a part of that.
Okay, can you block it, yes or no?
We may win today. This is going to surprise a lot of people. It's going to be very close.
Senator, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Rand Paul, the Republican from Kentucky.
Breaking news, American University student Otto Warmbier will be released from a North Korean prison. We are getting more details and confirmation of exactly what's happening. A live report with the latest just ahead.
Viewpoints helps you celebrate the special men in your life with gifts like dress shirts, 3 for $99, shorts and t-shirts all 50% off, plus buy one, get one free on more. Men's Warehouse.
At Angie's List, we believe there are certain things you can count on. Like what goes down doesn't always come back up. So when you need a plumber, you can count on us to help you find the right person for the job. Discover all the ways we can help at Angie's List.
1 or 2 or both. Because at VisionWorks, when you buy a pair of glasses, you get a second pair at no additional cost. Go to visionworks.com/deals for your coupon. It's all about helping you be a better you. VisionWorks. Shop in store or online.
Candace, 2 minutes. Too late for lunch.
Stuck to save the day.
Sweet and spicy tuna in a pouch. Smart choice, Charlie.
No strain, no pain. Just tear, eat,
and go.
Try our new tuna creations, bold flavors.
Chef Sessions, the full story. The attacks, his answers. Where do we go from here? Sean gets real about what's next for the administration. Expert analysis tonight on Hannity.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-650-4157.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-650-4157, or visit SoClean.com today.
DR, America's #1 selling brush mower for over 25 years, is now bigger, faster, and easier to use than ever before. The all-new DR still pulverizes the toughest brush, including saplings up to 3 inches thick. It still reclaims overgrown fields from the thickest grass and weeds out there. And now the DR does it with power steering. Glide easily through turns with fingertip control and get the job done faster with wider mowing decks. The all-new DR Field and Brush Mower. Bigger, faster, and now starting at under $2,000.
Call 1-800-418-1905 for your free buyer's guide and DVD. Learn how you can try a DR Field and Brush Mower on your own property for 6 months. Plus, for a limited time, free shipping is in effect. Hurry, this offer won't last. Call 1-800-418-1905. Online at drfieldbrush.com.
North Korea has reportedly released jailed U.S. University of Virginia student Otto Warmbier. He was arrested in 2016 while on a tour for allegedly, they say, the state says, stealing a political banner. So the announcement now comes as Dennis Rodman is returning to North Korea. He's been there many times before. Foreign Affairs correspondent Benjamin Hall joins us now live from London with more details. Hi, Benjamin.
Yeah, good morning, Shannon. Well, great news this morning. This is a story that we have been covering for the last year since he was arrested. Otto Warmbier, the 22-year-old UVA student, jailed for 15 years hard labor in North Korea for allegedly trying to steal a propaganda poster from his hotel, has been released. According to the Secretary of State, he is now flying home to see his parents in Ohio. So great news for him. And of course, we remember that tearful confession that he was, many people think, forced to give when he was finally arrested. And this is an issue which Fox News and many others have been following, but now we're hearing that he has been released. And of course this comes, as you say, on the back of this visit by Dennis Rodman to North Korea. Dennis Rodman, of course, has visited the country twice now, and he was mobbed at the airport on the way there, and he left a cryptic message. It's not clear if he was connected to the release or if that had something to do with it, but he said that he was going there to open doors and that President Trump was probably happy that he was there.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's pretty much happy at the fact that I'm over here, trying to accomplish something that we both need.
Now, Dennis Rodman last visited in 2013, and then he took the Harlem Globetrotter team with him. And on that occasion, he was seen exchanging jokes and vodka with Kim Jong-un. He sung him happy birthday and called him a friend for life. The visit, though, coincides, as well as the release, with a rapid succession of missile tests from North Korea. And, of course, critics say that Rodman's appearance there sort of whitewashes the regime's aggressive nuclear militarization, its dangerous regional policies, forced labor camps, torture, not to mention, of course, the detention of U.S. citizens. And let's not forget there are 3 more U.S. citizens being held by that country. And so, very uncertain whether or not Dennis Rodman's appearance had anything to do with it there. But this is great news for Otto Warmbier, at least, heading home to see his parents after over a year in North Korean prison. Back to you.
What a celebration it will be. All right, Benjamin Hall, thank you very much.
2 big hearings about to begin in the midst of the breaking news on Otto Warmbier. Secretary Tillerson will testify. Will he speak to this matter? It might be in his opening statement, so we'll await more on that. Also, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein takes questions and clears up some matters on Russia, all coming up in another jam-packed hour here on America's Newsroom. Do not move.
Why does Duke take Cosequin? So he can get up and down the stairs. Keep him moving with Cosequin Joint Health Supplements. Why does Walter take Cosequin? So he can keep up with the ladies. You go, dog. Keep him moving with Cosequin Joint Health Supplements.
Performance. It's in every acceleration. It's in every corner. It's in every drive. This is the Jaguar F-Pace, our first performance SUV. For great offers, visit your local Jaguar retailer today.
If you love your dad, give him a meal that he'll truly appreciate. The Omaha Steaks Father's Day gift is filled with over $200 worth of great food for just $59.99. That's 70% off only on this special offer. The Omaha Steaks Father's Day gift includes either Omaha Steaks 4 juicy, tender 6-ounce filet mignons or a huge 30-ounce T-bone steak. Plus, you'll get 4 gourmet jumbo franks, 4 premium ground beef sliders, 4 creamy potatoes au gratin, and Omaha Steaks signature steak seasoning. Dessert is a decadent 2-pound New York cheesecake. Your order will be delivered straight to your home or the destination of your choice for the perfect gift. As a special thanks from us to you, if you order right now, we'll include 4 more premium Omaha Steaks ground beef sliders free. That's 8 total. The Omaha Steaks Father's Day gift, over a $200 value for just $59.99. Give Dad a gift he can appreciate. Give him the Father's Day gift from Omaha Steaks today.
This is a ClassAction.com consumer alert. Xarelto and Pradaxa are supposed to be as safe and effective as other blood thinners. Unfortunately, many users have suffered internal bleeding or brain hemorrhage resulting in severe injury or even death. The manufacturer Pradaxa has already agreed to pay out $650 million in settlements. For more information about your case, contact ClassAction.com. Information, protection, justice.
There's nothing more important to me than my vacation. So when I need to book a hotel room, I want someone that makes it easy to find what I want. Booking.com gets it. They offer free cancellation if my plans change.
Visit Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
I got an offer for my house online, but they kept changing it. So I called Homevestors, the We Buy Ugly Houses people. John made me a cash offer I could trust and closed on my timeline.
Visit WeBuyUglyHouses.com or call 800-44-BUYER.
Breaking news out of North Korea. Fox News now confirming American student Otto Warmbier will be released from a North Korean prison. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson will appear shortly at a hearing on Capitol Hill, so we'll watch closely for his remarks there. Our other headliner this morning, testimony from Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein before another Senate committee this hour. It is a busy day and a busy big hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Shannon Bream.
Morning to you.
Hello.
You all right?
Buckle up.
Never take it off. I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. A day for pointed questions and dramatic testimony about to happen. A normally dry hearing on budget matters morphing into an opportunity for senators to grill the deputy AG about the Russia matter and the decision to fire FBI Director James Comey. At the same time, a high-stakes hearing when his boss, later this afternoon, Jeff Sessions, steps in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee just days after Comey testified before the same committee.
Peter Ducey is live tracking it all for us on Capitol Hill. All right, Peter, is Rosenstein planning to talk much about Russia? Will he have to either way?
Shannon, he's coming here, in theory, just to ask for more money. I've seen a copy of the Deputy Attorney General's prepared remarks, and they don't mention Russia once. So if he actually sticks to those prepared remarks, he's not expected to name anything about the Russia investigation as a top funding priority, at least not in the beginning. Instead, he is expected to kick off the proceeding by stressing the importance of having funding for fighting terrorism, for trying to tackle the opioid epidemic, for speeding up the process, for removing criminal aliens from the country, things like that. However, Rosenstein is still the highest-ranking Justice Department official able to talk about the Russia investigation because the Attorney General has recused himself, Jeff Sessions. And an Appropriations Committee staffer told me this morning they are anticipating a lot of Russia questions from Democrats. This morning is also going to be the Deputy Attorney General's first opportunity to respond publicly to questions about these reports that President Trump may be considering dismissing the special counselor for the special investigator for the Russia matter, Bob Mueller. And Rosenstein would be the guy to ask about that because Bob Mueller was appointed by Rod Rosenstein, who is expected to start speaking any minute just behind us, Shannon.
Okay, he's taking a seat there. So in the meantime, what do we expect to hear from the Attorney General this afternoon?
That's a good question. We don't expect to see his remarks ahead of time, which is very unusual for something as high profile as this. So we don't know this morning, a few hours ahead, how hard he may plan to push back against these reports about his involvement or not involvement with the Russia investigation. But the bulk of that hearing is going to be questions. The chairman and the ranking member of the Intel Committee are going to get 10 minutes worth, and then the rest of the Intel Committee will get 5 minutes a pop. And this is not expected to be one of those hearings where there will be a really wild question, and then the Attorney General may just have to tell lawmakers, well, that's something that we can talk about in a classified setting, in a closed setting, because there is no closed session scheduled, at least not right now. So whatever lawmakers hear from the Attorney General this afternoon is what we're going to hear, and that's it. And then he's expected to leave. Shannon.
All right, we'll be standing by. Peter Ducey, thank you very much, live on Capitol Hill.
So back to that breaking news out of North Korea. Rich Edson's live at the State Department running down a lot on this. Now, Rich, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Bill. We can tell you that Otto Warmbier, according to a source close to the discussions in the situation, says has been released from North Korea. He was arrested in January of 2016. He was sentenced a few months later in March of 2016 for apparently stealing a propaganda poster. He became one of what is now 4 Americans. Now, I guess there's only 3 Americans held in that country. Last month, North Korea seized a couple of more Americans who were associated with the Pyongyang University of Science and Technology. So Warmbier is a University of Virginia student. He is from Ohio. Right now, people in the government are getting briefed on the latest details on all of this, but we can report, first reported by the Associated Press, that Otto Warmbier, according to a source close to the situation, says has been released by North Korea. And then you throw on top of this news that Dennis Rodman, the former basketball player, is making yet another trip to North Korea. Unclear on what the relation could be there. No one here at the State Department is saying anything in regards to that. But just to throw out there that the former basketball player, the Worm, is in North Korea as this is happening.
Rich, let me try to ask you something. I don't know if we can answer this just yet because I don't know if we have enough information. But Warmbier's on a plane, right? He's coming back to the U.S. Had Rodman been in North Korea, had he landed before the release, or can we say that?
It is unclear if he was there yet and the timing on all this. It is exceptionally close. The news came out late last evening that Rodman was headed there, and then we heard this morning that Warmbier had been released. And by the way, the Secretary of State had just had a public meeting with the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia and said nothing about this. He is headed to testify in just a short while now before 2 separate Senate congressional committees.
The one camera, I believe that is live, right, guys, with Secretary Tillerson. So what is he expected to say with his testimony? Rich, how much do you have on that?
Yeah, well, technically this is supposed to be a budget hearing, but this is the first time that Rex Tillerson, as Secretary of State, has appeared before a committee since his confirmation hearing in the beginning of the administration, before the administration even started. So he'll be defending the administration's budget, which calls for deep budget cuts to the State Department. He will also be asked about the latest on the Qatar situation. The Secretary of State, according to sources here, has talked to about a dozen foreign ministers, counterparts in that region as that diplomatic crisis continues in that region. He met this morning with the Saudi foreign minister, who claimed there was no blockade of Qatar, by the way, and that it was its sovereign right, as the president has also called out Qatar over the last week and a half or so. So he'll be asked about that, and if the U.S. and the Secretary of State can play a neutral arbiter role here. On top of that, the Senate last evening came out with a list, a bipartisan bill, a strong list of sanctions that they are going to be placing or try to place on Russia that would severely hamstring this administration's ability, if it wanted to place or to pull back sanctions against Russia. So we have not heard from the administration or the Secretary of State on that as well. And you consider all that has happened in foreign policy and what the president has been saying since he's been inaugurated over Twitter and otherwise. The Secretary of State is going to be asked about all that, not just the budget.
Very interesting reporting. Thank you. Rich Edson there live at the State Department. Thank you, Rich.
All right, a whole lot to monitor this morning on America's Newsroom. Very busy day. Washington is just getting started. So right now, with all of these things playing out, let's bring in Guy Benson to talk to us about this. Fox News contributor and political editor for townhall.com. Guy, what in the world, you listen, there's so much bubbling out there, but what this administration wants to be talking about, what the president is tweeting about, is jobs. That is the mission this week. Last week it was infrastructure. Are they able to get any focus, any spotlight on that message with all of these other things playing out?
Good luck. I mean, the House of Representatives is probably going to pass significant VA reforms today that are welcome, by the way. I think it's good legislation. I interviewed Speaker Ryan earlier this morning on Hugh Hewitt's radio show, and he was on to talk about the VA, talk about their agenda in the House, but I had to ask him about the Robert Mueller question and how he would react if the president fired Robert Mueller, as at least is being discussed or floated as a trial balloon. And so with that happening and with the Attorney General voluntarily showing up in an open hearing later this afternoon, any hope of the Wisconsin event and the jobs message of dominating the news cycle is zero, right? It's not going to happen.
Okay, so as these hearings are playing out, obviously we know that today, even though this is supposed to be about appropriations and budgets and all that kind of numbers crunching kind of stuff, they're going to get to issues about Russia, about conversations. There have been questions now about how the White House, about how the president may feel about the Attorney General willingly going there and testifying openly. As Judge Napolitano shared with us last hour, he may find areas where it's a real conflict of interest for him in trying to decide whether he answers the question with his own self-interest in mind, with the White House in mind, the president. How tricky do you think it could be for him today?
I think it's going to be very tricky because, Shannon, keep in mind we saw reports just a couple days ago, right, that Attorney General Sessions at some point had offered to tender his resignation to President Trump over some apparent disagreements or not seeing eye to eye. If he's asked about that, how do you answer? Do you deny it? Do you deny or refuse to talk about internal deliberations at all, which might make people think that it's true? I mean, there are going to be a lot of tricky, difficult issues for him to try to navigate today, not the least of which is how many times he met with Russian officials and didn't fully disclose those during his testimony in his confirmation hearings. I think you can let him off the hook for perjury. I think that the way the question was asked months ago was different, but now they're going to be much sharper, more finely honed question for him. And I think he volunteered to come. He said, I want this to be public. I want to do this on my own terms. And so clearly he knows that the Democrats are going to be loaded for bear. And they're going to be firing from a lot of different angles, I would imagine.
You know, Guy, Mike McCasey was here last hour, the former Attorney General, and he has a long-standing professional relationship with Jeff Sessions. He said there was only one meeting, and the second meeting passes for a handshake. And the reports of some third meeting that was not reported before, he says that's not the case. He has no knowledge of it.
And it's unconfirmed. Those have not been confirmed, right?
Well, there was a report that suggested that Comey in private testimony or a private hearing delivered that information. So we'll wait and see whether or not any of that is confirmed. But Jeff Sessions has a real opportunity here. He can defend himself, and he's yet to do that, Guy.
Yep. And this is a chance for him to do it, and that's why I looked at the statement yesterday from the Justice Department spokeswoman, Sarah Isgur Flores, who speaks on behalf of Sessions until today, and she said the Attorney General wants to do this. And he said, no, let's not make it a private session. Let's make it public. I want to defend myself. I want to tell the truth. That's an aggressive stance. Now, there are going to be questions also, going back to Shannon's previous question, with this whole Robert Mueller question and the at least suggestion that maybe the president is considering firing him or moving that process forward of ending the special counsel investigation. You've got Sessions, who's recused himself from all things Russia, but he might still be asked about it. What would you do, Mr. Attorney General, if the president shuts down the special counsel investigation? Would that sit well with you? Would you resign in protest? I would not be surprised to see those types of questions coming in as well.
And do you think it'll be, much as we saw last week with the questioning of the former FBI director, it seemed that the Democrats and the Republicans had two different tracks of questioning. I mean, they all say that in a bipartisan way, they do want to get to the bottom of what's happened with Russia, but it also seemed at the same time that they have maybe very different ways of getting to that information.
Yes, there'll be a partisan divide, no doubt, but I think what you just asked is really important. What we've seen just in the last few hours are reports that there appears to be progress on a bipartisan basis on new sanctions against Russia, and that comes as Bloomberg reports this morning that Russia's attempts to hack into various elements of our electoral system across the country were far greater than previously reported, into 39 different states, apparently. So the Russians definitely have their hands very dirty in what they attempted to do in 2016. Both parties want to get a handle around that, or get their arms around that. And I think that the Republicans are more likely to use their question time to drill down on those issues, whereas the Democrats have maybe a different agenda, different priorities, since Sessions is sitting there right in front of them under oath.
All right. Guy Benson, always good to see you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. So we are watching a lot of things right now. We got the Senate hearing right now underway. The Deputy Attorney General there, when he takes the mic and starts addressing some of the relevant matters that we've been talking about for the past hour and 10 minutes, we will take you there. So stand by for that coming up here.
And don't forget, later today, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who was supposed to testify in the first hearing, will instead testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee because it's going to be about Russia, his contacts with the ambassador during the presidential campaign and beyond.
He believes that the sooner we can get this addressed and dealt with, that there's been no collusion. He wants this to get investigated as soon as possible and be done with it so he can continue with the business of the American people.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need cash? You need to know about the New Day 100 Home Loan for Veterans. It lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, not just 80%. And that can mean a lot more money for you and your family. With our military service, veterans like us have earned a valuable VA benefit, the right to apply for a VA home loan. The New Day 100 VA loan lets you refinance your mortgages, consolidate your credit card debt, put cash in the bank, and lower your payments an average of $640 a month. And New Day will even pay your appraisal fee. That could save you up to $500 or more. So call New Day USA. They look at your whole financial picture, not just your credit score, and they'll do everything they possibly can to get you approved. Call them today.
Refinance for up to 100% of your home's value. Go to newdayusa.com or call New Day USA now at 1-855-429-4866.
If you have Medicare Parts A and B and want more coverage, guess what? You can apply for a Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan whenever you want. No enrollment window, no waiting to apply. That means now may be a great time to shop for an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company. Medicare doesn't cover everything, and like all standardized Medicare Supplement Insurance plans, these help cover some of what Medicare doesn't pay. So don't wait. Call now to request your free decision guide. It could help you find the AARP Medicare Supplement plan that works for you. These types of plans have no networks, so you get to choose any doctor who accepts Medicare patients. Rates are competitive, and they're the only plans of their kind endorsed by AARP. Remember, these plans let you apply all year round. So call today, because now's the perfect time to learn more. Go long.
When you need help with a home project, there's only one place to go. HomeAdvisor, the free way to find trusted pros in your area. Other websites say they're free, but charge you for most of their features. HomeAdvisor is always free. Free to get matched to top-rated pros. Free to read reviews. Free to check the project cost guide. And free to instantly book an appointment. HomeAdvisor is so much more than a list. It's the best way to get help for all your home projects. Go to HomeAdvisor.com.
HomeAdvisor. When you're close to the people you love, does psoriasis ever get in the way of a touching moment? If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, you can embrace the chance of completely clear skin with Taltz. Taltz is proven to give you a chance at completely clear skin with Taltz up to...
It's going to be a busy day. Here's the House Speaker Paul Ryan, now live on the Hill.
Stand by this president and what sort of...
Oh, I'm not going to get it up. Look, I just said it. I think the best thing to do is to let Robert Mueller do his job. I think the best vindication for the president is to let this investigation go on independently and thoroughly. That, to me, is the smartest thing to do, the best thing to do, and that's what I think hopefully will happen. Yeah.
On the budget, you guys are running into issues like you did last year with disagreements over the top line spending number, and even some members are already talking about a shell budget just to get to tax reform similar to when you guys did earlier for healthcare. Do you think you can get a real budget resolution that lays out your priorities and what are the consequences of failure to do so now that you're actually a government?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So the question is about the budget. Remember, with a new president in the first year, you always have an abbreviated budget season. That's just the way budgeting with new administration works. So we always knew that we had a constricted budget and appropriation season. We're having a debate right now about how much we can assist the Pentagon and the military. So it's not a question of more resources for the military. It's just a question of the degree of how much more resources we can dedicate to the military. That's really what this big debate is about. And then we're going to have the kind of debate about what kind of what we call reconciliation instructions are necessary, not just for tax reform, but for other kinds of things we need to make sure that we're getting the budget trajectory heading in the right direction. What's the purpose of this budget? Get us on a path to balance, get working on our debt problem, which is a long-term problem, rebuild the military, and then put the kind of tools in place so we can maximize economic growth. The crown jewel of growing this economy, regulatory relief. You just saw what we did with the Choice Act last week. Tax reform. We think tax reform is absolutely critical to get 3% economic growth, to get higher wages, to get people going to work, and that is really important. That's what this budget's about. So we have lots of priorities that we're having a debate about how best we advance those priorities. We're having the kind of family conversation you have every year. When we have a resolution on that, you'll know. Deirdre.
Other Republicans have been criticizing Mueller and the team around him that he's hiring. Do you have complete confidence in Mueller and his team?
Yeah, I don't know his team. I know Bob Mueller, and I have confidence in Bob Mueller.
Last question.
Way in the back. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Two parts. One, did you convey your opinions to the president on Mr. Mueller that we should just let the investigation continue? And if the president does
What's that?
and let Mr. Mueller go?
There's no debate that's going on here. You're saying this?
You're creating a debate that's not happening.
Yeah. I heard this is like a rumor we heard last night. So there's really not some big debate that's occurring on this. You're creating, like I said, Kevin just meant it. You're creating a debate that's not occurring here. This is something that I think was a rumor that came out last night. So.
And healthcare, and you're creating a rumor that's not happening.
So Kevin made a good point here. Look at what we're doing this week. We found out 3 years ago, veterans were dying on these waiting lists that were occurring at the VA in Arizona and then all around America. So we uncovered a scandal, and then we realized when we were uncovering this veteran scandal, we couldn't even bring accountability to the VA. They couldn't even fire people who were grossly negligent in their jobs. So what are we doing? We're fixing this problem today. What did we do last week? We passed the Choice Act. We repealed and replaced Dodd-Frank, ended too big to fail, ended bailouts, and brought needed regulatory relief for community banks to help small businesses get credit and grow. What are we working on next week? We're working on the skills gap so that people can get the skills they need to get good jobs. The point I'm trying to make is let's put this all in perspective. We are focused on solving people's problems. What I think the American people want to know is that their government's working. Yes, these issues, I'm not saying this isn't important. These investigations are important. They need to be independent. They need to be thorough. They need to go where the facts go. But we also have a duty to serve the people that elected us to fix the problems that they're confronting in their daily lives, and that's what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
You heard there from House Speaker Paul Ryan saying they want to focus on the agenda they have, the things they've accomplished with specificity today, talking about the Veterans Affairs system and overhauling that to make sure that it is safe and responsive to our nation's veterans. Many other things they're working on. They want to focus on that. They're fielding a lot of questions on many other things. We'll cover all those things as we stay on it.
Speaking with the Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy last hour, they're trying. He did concede that some of this Russia deal is getting in the way of what they're doing, but still was insistent that we've done this and we've done this and we'll continue to move our agenda forward. There's a big deal today coming up for the veterans of America that should pass the House later today. So when that happens, we'll bring it to you. So we're waiting on all this. We're watching the monitors for Rubenstein, so we'll bring you all up to date on that as it continues on the Hill. Also, we are learning new details about the American imprisoned in North Korea. Otto Warmbier is on his way home. There are some reports now that his health is in a poor state. We're going to try and run this down. We'll bring it to you when we can. But what we know is that the family has confirmed they're awaiting his arrival by way of airplane later tonight in Cincinnati, Ohio. All this came to light 50 minutes ago when Rex Tillerson delivered a statement in writing about Warmbier.
And the family, and that is the statement that was released.
Very good. Well, listen, we look forward to your opening comment and questions. Thank you again for being here. You can begin with that.
So this was the statement. We just caught the tail end of it. What Tillerson said, at the direction of the President, the Department of State has secured the release of Otto Warmbier from North Korea. Mr. Warmbier is en route to the United States where he will be reunited with his family. The Department of State continues to have discussions with the DPRK regarding 3 of the U.S. citizens reported detained. Out of respect for the privacy of Mr. Warmbier and his family, we have no further comment on Mr. Warmbier. His parents, Fred and Cindy, have been rocks throughout this entire ordeal. And speaking to them here in New York about a month ago, they were very concerned about their son's condition. They said that oftentimes when they spoke publicly, the ransom for his release went higher. So they were really stuck trying to find the security and the release of their son. They also said here in Midtown Manhattan that a month ago, they were not even sure their son was alive. So you imagine the amount of faith and hope that goes into securing his release and getting him back home. And given these reports now, Shannon, about him being in poor health. So we're just trying to nail this down, and we'll bring it to you when we get more here.
Young man, it's been excruciating for all of us to watch and see as he gave what most believe was a forced confession, and to see how heartbreaking it would be for his family to have to watch and not know about their child. Yeah. Great news for him today. We look forward to his return.
Quick break here. More on that and everything else that's moving in Washington, D.C. right after this.
America is now making history, but not in the way we ever intended. We are now over $19.5 trillion in debt. Entirely unacceptable. Hi, I'm William Devane, and we are now in more debt than we've ever been. And paying this down anytime soon looks pretty grim, which is why I protect my assets and buy gold from Roslyn Capital. Whether you want new or old gold coins or premium collector coins, Roslyn has them all. Plus, what you order is what you get. No gimmicks, no nonsense, no hassle. And they still have the fastest shipping around. So if you're concerned about this, protect yourself with this. Buy gold and silver from Roslyn Capital.
Call now and get a free gold kit, including coins only available from Roslyn Capital, a free silver kit, and a free IRA kit. Call 800-630-8900, 800-630-8900, 800-630-8900.
That's right, keep rocking. SiriusXM's free listening event might be over, but you can turn us back on with packages starting for a limited time at just $5.99 a month plus fees. Just visit SiriusXM.com/GetSXM to keep hearing all the things that make you love taking the long way home. So visit SiriusXM.com/GetSXM or call 1-844-479-6669 to turn us back on and up.
I could tell right away ZipRecruiter was going to make hiring a lot easier.
Go to ZipRecruiter.com and post to over 100 job boards with one click. Then easily select the best candidates from one list. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/Fox.
You don't let anything keep you sidelined. That's why you drink Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. for the strength and energy to get back to doing what you love. Ensure, always be you.
Team Trump testifies. After Jeff Sessions speaks to Congress, Martha's experts break down what it means for the administration. Tonight on The Story.
Hello, neighbor. Pat Boone here for the folks at TV Ears. Are you having trouble hearing your TV set? Somebody telling you it's too loud? Well, you don't need expensive hearing aids. We've got the answer. Doctor-recommended TV Ears has helped millions of people hear television dialogue clearly. TV Ears eliminates loud TV in your home and returns peace and harmony to your family and your marriage. This fantastic wireless headset elevates hard-to-hear words, making accents, even whispers, understandable. Now your family can watch TV with you or mute the TV volume for complete quiet. Why don't you call the number on your screen? Get the original TV Ears, normally $129.95, for just $59.95, plus a free 5-year limited warranty, all for just $59.95. Call the number on your screen. Start enjoying TV again. You're going to love TV Ears.
It is a big day for hearings and breaking news. A busy morning. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein right now appearing before a Senate subcommittee. He's live. We're listening in. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson now appearing before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee as we get word of the release of Otto Warmbier from North Korea, and House Republican leaders speaking out in their weekly news conference. And covering it all, Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emmnuel live on the Hill. All right, cabinet secretaries there defending budget choices by the Trump administration. But we would imagine, Mike, this is going to veer into other territory and headlines.
Well, Shannon, no question about it. We're hearing a range of cabinet secretaries up on Capitol Hill defending some of the budget choices made by the Trump administration, essentially saying they're focused on their key priorities at this point. We have the Treasury Secretary talking this hour, and he says that they are focused on a key legislative priority to get the economy fully growing.
Tax reform will play a major role in our campaign for growth. It has been more than 30 years since we have had comprehensive tax reform in this country. This administration is committed to changing that. We have over 100 people working at Treasury on this issue.
And we're seeing some Democrats take swipes at these cabinet secretaries, essentially for the Russia probe, while the Senate Intelligence Committee is going to get a chance to ask questions of Attorney General Jeff Sessions this afternoon. It's clear a number of the other committees would also like their opportunities as well, Shannon.
Okay, so Mike, a lot of talk about Russia, the probe today, and about whether that is stalling the agenda, all these different investigations and hearings. What are we hearing from Republican leaders on that front?
Well, House Republican leaders say they are passing a series of bills. They've been very active. They're getting a lot of things done, including health care reform. They say they are still focused on tax reform, but they are also being asked about the Robert Mueller probe. And here's House Speaker Paul Ryan from just moments ago.
In the best case for the president is to be vindicated by allowing this investigation to go on thoroughly and independently. So I think the best advice would be to let Robert Mueller do his job.
While House lawmakers are actively passing bills, let's face it, they are getting questions at every turn about Comey, Mueller, and Sessions. And so there are certainly a lot of questions everywhere they go. Shannon?
Okay, and finally, against this backdrop, they are still working on health care. Any word out of the Senate?
Well, that's right. You've got 13 Republican senators going to the White House at noon today to talk with President Trump about health care reform. This as individual components of health care reform are being sent to the Congressional Budget Office for assessment. They're trading ideas back and forth. Here's a key player on health care reform talking about that aspect.
You know there's going to be an iterative process, if you will, sending things to CBO, things come back, know that works, know that doesn't work. And part of it is, as I'm sure, how many people are covered and what are the premiums. So I'm not disturbed that they're sending things to CBO. That's part of the process.
Senate Republican leaders are hoping to vote on a health care reform package by the 4th of July recess with 52 Republicans. They need 50 to pass a bill. They're trying to find some sort of consensus. Shannon?
All right, Mike Emmnuel live on the Hill. Thank you very much.
So our Fox News contributor, political town hall editor, townhall.com, Guy Benson, back with us. And Guy, as you look toward these hearings now, this reporting overnight about Bob Mueller being fired, the White House is shooting this down in a significant way. At this point, we don't expect that to happen.
It really shouldn't happen. I mean, even if the president is frustrated that the special counsel exists, which we know he is, at this point, to say, I'm shutting it down, I'm totally innocent, this is all lies from fake news, but I'm shutting down the independent investigation or the quasi-independent investigation from this very respected former FBI chief, that would look terrible. I think you would see a backlash from some conservatives on Capitol Hill, some Republicans on Capitol Hill. The Democrats would go bananas, the media would go bananas, and it would look like the White House was basically unfurling a banner over the White House that says, we're guilty, even if they're not. So at this point, you've got someone with a sterling reputation. Let him do his work. That is by far the smartest play, unless you really are trying to hide something, which Trump insists he is not.
So when Sessions testifies today, we don't know if he's going to share information on his private conversations with the president. Because in one of the hearings last week, that was a point where they would not go and would not touch. As I asked that question, Rod Rosenstein's on this topic. Now, this is the Deputy Attorney General. He's the one who pursued the special counsel with Bob Mueller. You got all that? So that's where we are right now. Let's check in.
Including violation of departmental policies. The Attorney General shall inform the special counsel in writing of the specific reason for his or her removal. Now, as I understand, Mr. Rosenstein, in this matter, you are actually the one exercising hiring and firing authority because Attorney General Sessions is recused. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And at this point, have you seen any evidence of good cause for firing of Special Counsel Mueller?
No, I have not.
And have you given the special counsel full independence from the Justice Department to conduct his investigation?
Yes, Senator, I appreciate that question. At the last hearing I attended, I explained it would require a long time to explain exactly why. I'm confident that he has full independence. The short answer is, though, that regulation, as you may know, was written and implemented during the Clinton administration under the authority of Attorney General Reno. I know the folks who wrote that. They wrote it to deal with these sort of situations, and I am confident that he will have sufficient independence. And it's certainly theoretically possible that the Attorney General could fire him, but that's the only person who has authority to fire him. And in fact, the chain of command for the special counsel is only directly to the Attorney General, or in this case, the acting Attorney General. So nobody else in the department would have authority to do that. And you have my assurance that we're going to faithfully follow that regulation, and Director Mueller is going to have a full degree of independence that he needs to conduct that investigation appropriately.
And is there a record that gives him that full independence? Is that done in a letter or an order from you as the Deputy Attorney General?
Yes, Senator. It's done in the order, which I believe was issued on May 17th. And the order references the regulation from which you've read. And so that is the source of his authority.
Thank you. You mentioned in your opening comments about the importance of the budget request for 230 assistant U.S. attorneys. I certainly agree that that's important. I am concerned, however, that we still we had an en masse firing of U.S. attorneys in the country, and as far as I know, at least in New Hampshire, we haven't made any nominations to replace the person who was fired. Can you tell me how many U.S. attorneys have been nominated throughout the country?
I believe, Senator, that the president announced his first set of nominations yesterday, and I believe there were 7 or 8 in that first round. And what I can assure you is that we are moving very expeditiously, and I think that there's been some press that I think may be somewhat misleading about that. I believe we're actually going to be ahead of most recent administrations in the speed by which we're appointing U.S. attorneys. It's obviously very important to me because I spent 12 years serving as a U.S. attorney, and I know how important good U.S. attorneys are to the operations of the Department of Justice. In fact, the last 2 Saturdays I've spent in the department interviewing candidates for about 10 districts each weekend, and so we anticipate that by the end of the summer, we'll see a large number of U.S. attorneys nominated throughout the country.
Well, I certainly am glad to hear that. It's my understanding, at least in New Hampshire, we haven't seen wholesale firing of U.S. attorneys in the way that we did in this administration. Was there a reason why every U.S. attorney in the country was fired on the same day?
So, Senator, I'm pleased to tell you not everyone was fired because I was one of the U.S. attorneys that day.
Good.
There were four who were not fired. But I was not in the department at that time. I learned about the firings after the decision had been made, so I have no insight into why that decision was made.
You mentioned in your opening statement the tragedy in Georgia and the officers who were killed, murdered. It's a reminder that those who work in our prisons do have a very difficult job that is very dangerous. And I am troubled by the fact that while the administration's hiring freeze was lifted in April, that the Department of Justice has been under a self-imposed hiring freeze since mid-February. And while there was a blanket exemption for positions relating to public safety and national security, it doesn't include the Bureau of Prisons, which is still under a freeze. And in fact, in New Hampshire, FCI Berlin had extended conditional offers to 7 potential employees, 5 of whom were correctional officers, but due to the imposition of the hiring freeze, those positions were canceled by DOJ, so they were not able to go forward with that hiring. As you point out, this is a difficult job. Can you explain why we continue to have a hiring freeze on correctional officers within the Bureau of Prisons?
Senator, I appreciate that question. I think there may be some misunderstanding about this. The department froze BOP hiring at the headquarters in Washington and at the regional administrative offices, but my understanding is that the department allowed BOP institutions to continue hiring up to their staffing levels as of January 22nd, which means that if people left, they would be able to fill those vacancies. So within that overall level of staffing, I believe we've left discretion with BOP to hire for whichever positions it believes are most critical